Mang River was near the sea, but it wasn't very well developed. The people here were chaotic. It wasn't as bad as Flowing Snake, but not that much better either. Mang River was near the sea, but it wasn't very well developed. The people here were chaotic. It wasn't as bad as Flowing Snake, but not that much better either. Xieyang town belonged to Mang River, but it was at the border. This town was nearly 200 kilometers from Mang River, and because of transportation issues, this town was excluded from development. Amidst the ancestral hall, a short-figured man suddenly roared. Wang Lingfa, are you going to keep us all here if we don't agree to you? Guyanghe, what do you mean? I've already annihilated the Gourd Cove and Jiuming Academy. We South Mountain Wang family is the third biggest sect in the hidden sections. For this, we exposed ourselves to take leadership just to protect the hidden sections. Otherwise, it would be difficult for us to even remain. A skinny man in his 50s sneered. Then sect leader Wang, who do you think is attacking so many of our hidden sects and using such bloody means? A middle-aged woman said. Wang Lingfa said slowly. I think everyone knows who annihilated Gourd Cove. It's Luo Yu City Yemo, and then he made Dian Sung Seal sect. Now that this is happening again, do we really need to guess? The woman sneered. Sect leader Wang, I think it's because Yemo killed your brother and didn't leave a single person of the Wang family at Broken Top Mountain, and that's why you hate him so much. Wang Lingfa said hatefully. That's right, that Yemo has great enmity with my Wang family, how can I let him go? But now, this bastard is this crazy, he wants to annihilate us hidden sects, thus we Wang family need to stand out. Jiyu Yanghe was quite close to Yemo and approved of Yemo's character at the hidden sect tournament. Hearing the undermining words against Yemo, he helped Yemo again. Sect leader Wang, I was there when it happened. I won't talk about who's right and who's wrong. Yemo went to the small world through the teleportation formation. Everyone knows this, but sect leader Wang still wants to say that Yemo did it. Is this because of the conflict between you two? Wang Lingfa immediately reproached. Did you see with your own eyes that Yemo went to the small world? I know Yemo helped you before and you can help him make excuses, but please don't put the fate of the hidden sects at risk. Plus, who else other than Yemo can annihilate so many hidden sects in such a short few months? Oh, then what do you mean, sect leader Wang? Another middle-aged man got up and asked coldly. Wang Lingfa said. Many hidden sects were tricked to go to Luo Yu City by Yemo, and now the remaining hidden sects were attacked. I think we should join up to against Yemo, including the hidden sects that went to Luo Yu. Attack Yemo? The middle-aged man sneered. Yemo represents Luo Yu City. Luo Yu is just a city, but it's more powerful than some countries? Sect leader Wang, your ambitions are really great. Wang Lingfa also sneered. Of course it's not enough with just us, but we can also join up with other people. Large amounts of hidden sect masters left through the teleportation formation to the small world. We have more than 90% of the hidden sect masters gathered here. Plus, we're not fighting against the entire Luo Yu. Yemo representing Luo Yu is the past, now, Luo Yu is a democratic city. I just want the hidden sects to have a place to survive. Yemo annihilated so many of our hidden sects, is it wrong to ask for a place to stay in Luo Yu? The middle-aged man didn't fear Wang Lingfa at all and yelled, Wang Lingfa, don't think of everyone as idiots. Don't think we don't know that you annihilated Hong Martial Sect, Dian Sung and Jiuming Academy. If Yi Qianbei is still in Luo Yu, would you dare to call for an attack against him? If Wang Yijian and Xing Jingxia and these Qianbais were still here, would you dare to be this cocky? Wang Lingfa took out a soft sword and pointed at the middle-aged man. Zhang Hua, Yemo saved your life in the hidden sect tournament, and thus you can't even tell the difference between right and wrong. Now you dare to undermine the Wang family. No matter how powerful we are, how can we annihilate Dian Sung and Jiuming Academy? Today, I'm going to experience the power of masters from the Guanyao Temple. Zhang Hua pulled out a thin blade from his back and said, when the teleportation formation was opened, your Wang family was still in sect seal. Of course you can preserve your power, but Wang Yijian and Xing Zihingxia, these masters had already left. It's no wonder that Jiuming Academy's power declined. Plus, Wang Lingfa, you conspired with those gray-robed people, don't take everyone as idiots. Then Zhang Hua flicked his sword and said, Dao friends, I believe everyone knows in their heart that South Mountain Wang family conspired with foreigners to steal the resources of our hidden sects and also tries to trick us into fighting Luoyu City. Can we really fight the Luoyu City? I believe everyone knows that the Wang family just wants us to die. Although I don't know why they're doing this, but if we still don't wake up, we'll be devoured whole eventually. Dao friend Zhang Hua, those gray-robed people are the mortal world powers of the Wang family. What evidence do you have to say they're foreigners? An old man got up. So it's Will Sword's sect leader Yu Tao. Sect leader Yu has been in solitary cultivation, so it's no wonder you don't know this. People have long noticed that Wang Lingfa conspired with those gray-robed people. Even Wu Dao Qianbei knows a little because an Earth-level primary stage ancient martial artist got up and said, That's right. A friend escaped from the Jiuming Academy, and he saw the killers were those gray-robed people. Now that I see these gray-robed people, I know we're trapped. Now it seems that not only did they conspire, but they're not afraid of exposing it at all, or they wouldn't let these gray-robed people come out into the public. Sect leader Wang, if we don't agree to you, we probably won't be able to leave here, right? Wang Lingfa sneered. You're right, those who don't agree to me will disappear. I've been doing my best for the hidden sections. Then, Wang Lingfa took a step back and the two gray-robed men next to him raised their weapons. Two dark rays flew out extremely rapidly. It wasn't even able to be seen, much less blocked. Black level can dodge ordinary pistol bullets and Earth level can dodge custom-made pistol bullets. But these two rays were many times faster than bullets. The shadow already reached Zhang Hua and the other Earth level's head. Zhang Hua, who was vigilant, raised his sword without hesitation, and in a clank, a small black line was flicked away, but that also made Zhang Hua take a step back. Meanwhile, the other Earth level's head was pierced in a stream of blood. The other ancient martial artists were all dazed. Now, everyone realized that what Zhang Hua said was real. There were about 50 gray-robed people and 30 from the Wang family. There was definitely more people outside. An Earth-level primary stage was easily killed. Zhang Hua was Earth-level tertiary stage, but only barely stopped it. Who would dare to fight such power? Wang Lingfa sneered. Those who wants to join up with us against Luo Yimo can stand on my side. Those who don't want to can go outside. A few people already walked over. More and more people went over as fighting with Wang Lingfa meant 90% death. Zhang Hua suddenly laughed. I won't go with your Wang family. What can you do? Count me in two, Gu Yanghe said and stood by Zhang Hua. Count me in two, Gu Yanghe said and stood by Zhang Hua. Seeing so many people still hesitating, Wang Lingfa sneered. Kill them. A few gray-robed men raised their weapons. Gu Yanghe and Zhang Hua wanted to charge out of the hall, but as soon as they turned, they saw the entrance was filled with gray-robed people, each having the same weapon. Zhang Hua and Gu Yanghe's heart sunk. Thud thud. This was the familiar sound that killed the Earth level before. With this many sounds, it was obvious that Gu Yanghe and Zhang Hua couldn't live at all. But after the sound, Gu Yanghe and Zhang Hua were completely fine, but an extra person appeared here. Brother Yi. Yi Qianbei. City Lord Yi. Many people knew Yemo, but many didn't as well. Yemo was a judge for the Hidden Sect tournament before. Yemo. Wang Lingfa's eyes narrowed. That hatred was unable to be hidden. Thank you for saving me, Yi Qianbei. You've saved me twice already, Zhang Hua said. Yemo also recognized this middle-aged man and nodded. Not bad. It's only been this long and you reached Earth tertiary stage from yellow level. Haha, brother Yi, do you still remember me? Gu Yanghe laughed. Yemo saluted with his fists. Of course I do. You've improved quite a lot, brother Gu. Gu Yanghe knew Yemo didn't say that his cultivation level increased, but his courage increased. His power almost didn't increase at all, but the way he did things changed a lot. Wang Lingfa shook. He just remembered that the bullets that shot towards the two were gone, and Yemo suddenly came. Could he catch those bullets? Ancient martial arts can be powerful to this extent? If Yemo was this powerful, how could he fight him? Didn't he go to the small world? How is he here? Wang Lingfa immediately got the conclusion that he must kill Yemo immediately or everyone else here would fight against him. All of you attack, kill this man, Wang Lingfa said. Thud thud this time, it was much denser than before. These gray-robed people were well trained and some were even above yellow level, so as soon as Wang Lingfa ordered, they attacked at the same time. This was a new type of firearm. It was much more powerful than guns. Yemo didn't move, he just reached out his hand and looked at the green pea-sized things in his hand. They were black, but Yemo's spirit sense scanned that they had an explosive substance. If he didn't control it with his cultivation essence, these things wouldn't exploded already. Everyone saw Yemo look at this hand and thus all turned to look at his hand. Immediately, they realized that Yemo's casual grab caught all those bullets shooting at him at that speed. What was this power? Zhang Hua looked dazedly at the Yemo's hand. He took a step out wanting to block a few bullets for Yemo, but in such a short time, Yemo caught all of them. At this moment, Zhang Hua felt dejected. He swore that he would reach Yemo's height one day, but when he saw Yemo again, he realized that the gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. Yemo sneered and flung the bullets in his hands out. Splurge. Another densely cluttered wave of sounds and bullets shot out from the head of those gray-robed men. Some bullets even exploded in their heads. When they fell down one by one, only then did the ancient martial artist realize that Yemo did this. They all took a cold breath in. Cultivating ancient martial arts to the extreme can be this powerful? Or was Yemo truly a great heaven? After what happened at the Jingming Academy, all the ancient martial artists realized that above earth level was heaven level, and only surpassing that was truly great heaven. The ancestral hall was covered in blood and some timid ancient martial artists were feeling nauseous. Yemo killed 70 people just then. The only gray-robed alive was the one next to Wang Lingfa. Even an idiot knew that Yemo intentionally left him. Wang Lingfa's face was pale and his back was drenched in sweat. Those few ancient martial artists who went to Wang Lingfa's side quietly came back to Yemo's side. Yemo didn't seem to see this and looked coldly at Wang Lingfa. You're from some mountain Wang family? I killed Wang Lenshan and a few people from his family, and I heard that the Wang family was going to Seal Mountain for 50 years. How long has it been and you guys popped out again? Yemo didn't intend to ask Wang Lingfa properly. His power rose. All the ancient martial artists here couldn't even breath, much less Wang Lingfa, who was targeted by Yemo. However, Yemo didn't even use 1/10,000th of his real power. Tell me your purpose. Who are these gray-robed people? Yemo asked plainly. Wang Lingfa didn't want to talk, but he found he couldn't resist at all. I only know a little about those gray-robed people. They come from a big organization and have powerful weapons and military might. Their sole purpose of cooperating with us is to move into Luoyu City with the hidden sections. Yemo sneered. If Luoyu City was so easily taken over, it wouldn't need to exist. Even though he and Yixing left, it wouldn't be so easily taken over. I rejected at first, but I know that Luoyu City can't be conquered, so I didn't agree to their request. Later, I realized that they weren't going to attack Luoyu City. They don't even want to have much contact with Luoyu government, Wang Lingfa said. Yemo frowned but asked coldly, then what do they want to do? I only know it's a type or. Our Wang family is responsible for gathering the power of the hidden sects and use pressure or some other way to make the Luoyu government give the forest outside the city as the hidden sect grounds. Then we are to give these grounds to them, Wang Lingfa said. Even he felt something was wrong, but he couldn't reject. I only know it's a type or. Our Wang family is responsible for gathering the power of the hidden sects and use pressure or some other way to make the Luoyu government give the forest outside the city as the hidden sect grounds. Then we are to give these grounds to them, Wang Lingfa said. Even he felt something was wrong, but he couldn't reject. Then what did they give the Wang family? Yemo's tone grew cold. Wang Lingfa shivered and suddenly spat a mouthful of blood. Yemo's force was too powerful, but he answered. They would give revenge for the Wang family and then combine the entire hidden sect so the Wang family controls all the resources. Hearing this, everyone was furious. Wang Lingfa woke up due to this fury, but he immediately knew he uncontrollably spilled all the top secrets. There was despair in his eyes, and before Yemo asked again, he pulled out his sword and sliced across his neck. Yemo didn't stop this. He grabbed that gray-robed man with cultivation essence giant hand and searched his soul. Moments later, he dumped him and said to Zhang Hua and Gu Yonghe, "I'm going. If you guys want to go to Luoyu will welcome you." The rest of the Wang family people wanted to leave the ancestral hall, but now that the gray-robed people were dead, how could the other ancient martial artists let them go? An hour later, a private island near the North Pacific suddenly exploded and was obliterated into nothing. No one knew the cause of the explosion, but no one on the island lived. Of course Yemo did this, only the US knew that Luoyu had a special ore. This must be the joint work of the US and some other people. Yemo just set up a formation and detonated it there. This way of annihilation was quicker and more satisfying. Returning to Ninghai, Yemo saw that Muan and Su Mei were still talking. He didn't go over immediately. He reached out his spirit sense, wanting to see if Yun Bing was still in Ninghai. And Ting Ting should be a girl now after all these years. But after searching many times, Yemo didn't find Yun Bing with his spirit sense. He reached his spirit sense to Beijing and saw Shua Igua and Wang Ying. Yemo recognized those people whom he had only seen a few times, but he didn't see Yun Bing and Ting Ting. Yemo suddenly felt annoyed. Yemo was shook. He didn't know why he had such emotions, but after he calmed down he found that he was looking forward to seeing the two. Yemo shook his head. He really wanted to scan his spirit sense over the entire earth now to see if Yun Bing was here and Sister Yen. But Yemo resisted the urge. His spirit sense was powerful, but earth was arid in spirit chi. It would take at least half a day to do that. It was also taxing on his spirit sense. Even if he was to do that, he would need to get back to Luoyu City first. The business at Ninghai was over, and after he got the fish tails and visited the people at Luoyu, he would leave. Yemo stood for a moment and decided to go see Wang Ying at Beijing and give her 2 pills. Wang Ying helped him quite a lot of Ninghai. Wang Ying was drinking at a bar with a colleague, but she looked up and saw Yemo. She got up in shock. "Yemo? Know you're Yemo's son?" Yemo laughed. "Wang Ying, I came to Beijing to visit you." "You're really Yemo?" Wang Ying said joyfully. She didn't care that Yemo was a man and just hugged him. "Yemo, I really didn't expect to be able to see you after all these years. What immortal pill did you eat? Why didn't you change at all? But I see you're in a good mood. You've gotten over that breakup, right?" Wang Ying said to the female colleague next to her. "Inu, my old schoolmate, is here. I can't drink with you tonight. I need to stay with him. I might even need to stay with him for the night, hee." The female colleague got up and said, "Slow down, you still need to work tomorrow. Don't get stuck in bed." "See you tomorrow?" Yemo was speechless. Wang Ying didn't change at all. He also felt warm at heart. He felt Wang Ying's lifestyle was the happiest. "Yemo's, let's come to my place." Wang Ying grabbed Yemo. She felt very safe with Yemo. Yemo didn't plan to go back with her. He just wanted to come see her. He shook his head. "I just happened to walk past here and saw you drinking, so I came to say hello. I'm leaving Beijing tonight and I don't know when I can come back again. You've helped me before in Ninghai, so I came to thank you." "Pfft," Wang Ying snorted. "You've thanked me a few times already. You must come tonight. Those old friends are all in hiding, and now I've finally caught one today. How can I let you go? Don't be scared, I won't eat you. Of course I'm not scared of you eating me. Look." Wang Ying hugged Yemo and rubbed. "I'm going to take advantage of a young handsome man." But Wang Ying suddenly stopped and subconsciously looked down and called, "Yemo, you're okay now? When did this happen?" Yemo was awkward. He didn't have any mental preparation for this. He knew Wang Ying was just like this, but she didn't really think like that in her heart. Wang Ying felt happy. "How about I go find a way to contact Qingxue and ask for you?" He took out 2 pills for her. "Wang Ying, I got some good pills that can preserve your beauty. You can eat it when you like." Wang Ying took it and put it in her bag before calling to the waiter. "Bring 2 jugs of beer." Then she laughed at herself. "I'm already old, I don't need to keep my looks. So what if I keep it? He saw that I was getting old, so he divorced me and found a younger and prettier one. Yemo sighed and silently listened to her talk until she was drunk. Then he found her address based on her identity card and sent her home. Yemo left behind a purple card and a letter explaining who he was. He didn't need the money in this card, so he might as well give it to Wang Ying. When Yemo came to Ninghai again, he saw that Ning Sis Wang was in her dorms. Thus, Yemo went directly to Ninghai Uni. Ning Sis Wang sat in her dorm dazing. The night Yemo left, she realized that she didn't leave her brother-in-law's number, nor give him hers. How would brother-in-law find her? Ning Sis Wang sat in her dorm dazing. The night Yemo left, she realized that she didn't leave her brother-in-law's number, nor give him hers. How would brother-in-law find her? Sister Shuang, didn't you say you were going on a holiday with a friend? Why do you look so lost coming back? Are you in love and you lost that love? A chubby girl asked. The other girl immediately answered. Sis Wang losing love, how can you even imagine? Which idiot would break up with Sis Wang? Plus, the handsome guys wanting to chase Sis Wang can line up all the way around the school. Ning Sis Wang regained her senses and said, Don't bullshit, good things happened yesterday indeed. Where is Yiming? Let's go have a big meal, I will treat. Really, Sister Shuang, thank you. I'll call Yiming back immediately. The chubby girl shrieked and was about to make a call. Ning Sis Wang was indeed happy. She hasn't told her parents that Yemo was back, as she wanted to go back with him to give them a surprise. As soon as Yemo came to the door, he heard that Ning Sis Wang was going to treat people, and he quickly knocked on the door. Yiming is back, I haven't even called yet. She must have heard that there's food. The chubby girl opened the door and saw Yemo. Who are you? How did you come up here? The chubby girl looked dazedly at Yemo, not understanding how a guy came to the female dorms. The female dorms were under strict management, and no guys were allowed up here. I'm here to find Ning Sis Wang. Yemo said politely and deigned go in. Brother-in-law, I was thinking about how to let you know my contact details, but you're this powerful and found me. Ning Sis Wang rushed over in joy and pulled Yemo inside. What she didn't expect was that another girl in the corridor saw this and seemed surprised, but she quickly left. Moments later, she came to another dorm and charged in. Yu Ping, what are you doing? The girl wearing black glasses said unhappily. Yu Ping rushed to another girl next to the mirror saying, Chu Dan, I saw. Chu Dan also frowned and turned around, showing an extremely pretty face. In terms of looks, she was on par with Ning Sis Wang and seemed more feminine. Ning Sis Wang's body was not grown out yet, but Chu Dan was very curvaceous. Why, Yu Ping, what did you see? Yu Ping calmed herself down first and said, Chu Dan, I saw a man being dragged into Ning Sis Wang's dorm by her. Chu Dan immediately threw down her makeup pen and said in surprise and joy, Yu Ping, are you serious? Of course. Yu Ping said. Yu Ping, hurry up and call the school management and the Mei Mei school news. Tell them to bring cameras immediately. Chu Dan said desperately. Then, Chu Dan's beautiful face showed a smile. Little slut, can't keep your pants on, how dare you fight with me? Brother-in-law, you're really powerful. As soon as I came back, you're back. How did you find me? Who did you ask? Ning Sis Wang couldn't control her joy. Yemo smiled but didn't say anything. Wow, Sister Shuang, you're not nice. You found a boyfriend but you're hiding it from us. Brother-in-law, so cringe, but I like this title. If I find a boyfriend, I'll call him brother-in-law too. Ha! The chubby girl joked. But immediately she thought about the big meal. Hee hee, Sister Shuang, you've got good eyes, this handsome guy, hee hee. You didn't forget about the big meal later, right? All you know is eat, look at how chubby you are. Another girl said. Ning Sis Wang quickly said to her two dorm mates. Don't misunderstand, this is really my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, they're my dorm mates, the chubby one is Li Yan and this one is Yi Xiaoshan. Yiming isn't back yet. He really is your brother-in-law? Yi Xiaoshan asked in shock. Yes. Ning Sis Wang said affirmatively. Li Yan was confused too. Ning Sishuang's sister has been out for so many years. Even if her brother-in-law came back, he can't be this young. Seeing that they were going to chat non-stop, Emo quickly said, Sishuan, I'm going back soon, just give me that key. Don't be in such a rush, your sister Shuang's brother-in-law, you finally came, of course you need to treat us to dinner. We've been exhausting our brains helping Sister Shuang recently, Li Yan said. Seeing this, Emo knew he couldn't get away from this, so he nodded. In that case, let's go eat. Sis Wang, remember to bring the key. Just at this moment, Yi Xiaoshan looked at her phone and quickly said, Sis Wang, the student management department people are here and the school news department. We should quickly go, it must be that Chu Dan. She saw you bring your brother-in-law and wants to look for trouble. Ning Sis Wang said in contempt. So what if they're here? I'm not scared. So what if my brother-in-law is here? I don't have about being an image representative. Yumo's spirit sense scanned two groups of people going up the stairs coming towards their direction and asked, What's image representative? Lu Yan immediately said, Being the image representative for Ning Hai. There's only 2 spots and one of them is in our school. Your identity and status will. The dorm doors were opened and more than 10 people were hustled towards with all sorts of flashlights. Ning Sishuang's hands were still clutching Yimo's arm and these were all caught by the cameras. But Yimo didn't care at all, he simply used a cultivation essence barrier and their cameras would be empty. But Lu Yan's face changed, she didn't expect the people came this fast. With this news, Ning Sishuang's image was ruined. But before she could talk, a few students with badges came in. Ning Sishuang, you've broken the rule of bringing a male into the female dorms. Please come with us to the Student Management Center. The student saw Yemo and his eyes flashed with jealousy. Can't my family come to visit me? Since when did the school rules say that family members aren't allowed to visit? Ning Sishuang said in contempt. Another student argued. We'll know if he's your family member after going to the Student Management Center. Even if he is family, males aren't allowed in the female dorms. Brother-in-law. Ning Sishuang looked at Yemo unhappily. Yemo smiled. Then don't bother studying here, come back with me. Huh? Yemo's words shocked everyone here. Ning Hai Uni was one of the 3 most famous universities in the country. Countless people wanted to come in, and yet Ning Sishuang's boyfriend just said don't study here. Ning Sishuang immediately rejoiced and hugged Yemo's arm even tighter. But my parents want me to study here, what do I do? How could Yemo not know what she wanted? He smiled. I'll speak with them about this. Sishuang, are you really quitting because of this? Lu Yan asked stutterly. Sishuang, are you really quitting because of this? Lu Yan asked stutterly. Yeah, my brother-in-law said so, what do I need to be afraid of? Let's go, call Yiming and we'll go get a big meal. Ning Sishuang joyfully. She didn't understand why her parents insisted on her studying here when there were so many good schools in Luoyu. Remember to pack your things and bring that key. Yemo reminded again. That key was very important to him. His spirit sense scanned Duanheng ranges and found it to be surrounded by all sorts of buildings. Even if he could open the formation, it would cause a huge commotion. Plus, Yemo didn't have any faith in starting that formation as the formation heart has been dug up. Ning Sishuang just put a few simple things in her bag and said, Don't worry, I've picked up the key already. There's nothing else here, let's go. Then Ning Sishuang looked slyly at the students and said, Okay, I'm not a student of Ninghai University now, the Student Management Center has no right to manage me. The students there dazed, not being able to say a word. Ning Sishuang held Yemo's hand and waltzed out of the door and said to Li Yan, Yen, when Yiming comes back I'll call you, we'll have a big dinner together. The tall man saw Yemo and Ning Sishuang go downstairs and quickly said, That man has violated our school rules and went into our school's female dorms, he must be recorded. Then, he took a step forward to grab Yemo, but as soon as he got to the stairs, he fell down. The stairs were very wide, but he eerily rolled a few times before spitting out a few teeth. Then, he was paralyzed on the stairs. Everyone who saw this were shook, the stairs were so wide and smooth and yet he fell like that. The rest of the people couldn't care about Yemo and Ning Siswang. They quickly helped the student up and sent him to the hospital. Ning Siswang laughed and felt very satisfied. Yemo shook his head and sped out of the dorms, coming into a small road outside the school. "Brother-in-law, wait for me." Ning Siswang rushed up and grabbed Yemo's arm. "Io, brother-in-law, such intimacy. I heard you're quitting uni, Ning Siswang. I even feel a little guilty." Chu Dan spun out. "I thought you were going to the student management center and specially walked around BTU. I still saw you." Sigh. Chu Dan sighed. Yemo frowned but didn't talk. Ning Sishuang's tone suddenly went cold. "Chu Dan, don't think that I don't know you're behind this, but I never even cared about the image representative. Plus, I quit when I want to quit. Can you do that? You can only plot against people behind their backs. What are you?" Yemo wanted to laugh. He could tell that Ning Sishuang cared about it, but after all that happened, she knew she had no hope for it. Chu Dan looked at Ning Sishuang and sneered. "So what if I reported you? Dropping out of school first year in uni, what can you do? At most there would be an extra." Ning Sishuang's face burst red. "I'm going back with my brother-in-law. What does that have to do with you? I'm not even going to stay here." "Of course I know you're not going to stay here. Brother-in-law, what a nice name. After I graduate I need to learn with you." Chu Dan said in contempt. "What can you do with your brother-in-law?" Little did Ning Sishuang know that Chu Dan was cursing her for being lucky enough to find a man this handsome, but she would never say that. Ning Sishuang was always better than her, and that made extremely uncomfortable. Yemo could tell that Ning Sishuang was no match for Chu Dan in an argument, so he pulled her, signaling her to stop talking. Then he said, "Sishuang is going to cultivate to be an immortal with me, is that okay? Brother-in-law." Ning Sishuang was speechless. Why not leave if we can't beat her in the argument? Why talk about some immortal cultivation? She would have no face to come back. Chu Dan dazed and suddenly laughed. She realized she didn't envy Ning Sishuang anymore. Her boyfriend was good-looking, but he was an idiot. He was nothing compared to her cunning boyfriend. At this instant, she felt very satisfied. She finally beat Ning Sishuang. "Let's go." Yemo suddenly felt annoyed and took Ning Sishuang. Cloud appeared beneath his feet and they floated into the sky on this cloud in front of Chu Dan, soon disappearing. Chu Dan's laughter suddenly stopped. She looked dazedly at Yemo and Ning Sishuang and suddenly rubbed her eyes and patted her head. After a long while she screamed. "Flying, it's really flying. Chu Dan, what happened to you?" Two girls heard Chu Dan scream and came over. Chu Dan pointed hysterically at the direction where Yemo and Ning Sishuang disappeared. Yu Ping frowned. "Chu Dan, what happened to you? What is flying?" "Ning Sishuang, she's quitting university." "Regardless, you've succeeded. What are you worrying about?" Chu Dan suddenly said to Yu Ping and Mimi. "Did you see Ning Sishuang? And the guy next to her? Did you see that they flew away? Dan, you're too good at acting, your expression seems so real." Another girl patted her chest and nodded. "Yes, Ning Sishuang flew away. You saw it too, right?" Chu Dan grabbed this girl. The girl slapped Chu Dan's hands. "Okay, we're about to have dinner. Everyone knows that Ning Sishuang was kicked flying by you." Chu Dan calmed down and was certain she didn't see wrong. She knew that no one would ever believe her. "Chu Dan, I feel you're a bit strange." Yu Ping noticed something. Chu Dan realized her actions were too strange before. She forced a smile despite the shock in her heart. "I was just joking, haha, can't you take a joke?" Pfft. Yu Ping sighed. Dan, you should go to performing arts, it's such a waste of your talent. You don't know how real your act was before." "Okay, today's incident let Dan win. Let's go have dinner and celebrate," Mei said. Chu Dan said, "Not tonight, let's do tomorrow. I'm a bit tired tonight, I want to sleep." Yemo intentionally flew in front of Chu Dan and even formed clouds with his cultivation essence. Before he left, he was going to set up level 9 formation at Luoyu anyways and help Qingxue's parents cultivate, so he might as well let Ning Sishuang know this earlier. When Ning Siswang was taken into the sky above the clouds, she was completely dumbfounded. It's been so long and she hasn't recovered. She felt scared right now, not surprise. Yemo gave Ning Siswang a clear mind spell and only then did she wake up. She grabbed Yemo's hand and asked nervously, "Brother-in-law, we're flying?" Yemo gave Ning Siswang a clear mind spell and only then did she wake up. She grabbed Yemo's hand and asked nervously, "Brother-in-law, we're flying?" Yemo nodded. "Yes, this is the cultivation I was talking about. Your sister isn't here so she can't come see you, but if you want to learn I can teach you." "Of course I want to," Ning Siswang reacted and said in surprise and joy. She realized why her brother-in-law told her to quit. If she could cultivate, why would she go study? Chu Dan thought for an entire night in her dorm and the next morning, she ran to Ning Siswang's dorm. Li Yan got up and saw it was Chu Dan and immediately looked unhappy. She said coldly, "Chu Dan, Siswang was moved away because of you, what else do you want?" Chu Dan had an apologetic face. "I came to apologize to her. I regret what I did yesterday. Give her number to me, I will apologize to her personally." Hearing this, everyone in the dorm was dazed. Chu Dan had always been very dominant. It was absurd that she came to apologize. Li Yan reacted quickly. "No need for apology. After we ate with Siswang and her brother-in-law, they probably left Ninghai. So you have Siswang's number or do you know where her house is?" Chu Dan asked hopefully. Li Yan was more vigilant. She shook her head. "I had her number but she doesn't use that phone anymore. She told me that if anyone called her just let them know that she had already left. As for her house, I don't know." Huh. There was disappointment in Chu Dan's eyes but she didn't fuss about it. She thanked Li Yan and left. After Chu Dan left, Li Yan said, "Do you think this Chu Dan isn't very normal? I won't believe someone like her would apologize. Would this woman be jealous of Ning Sishuang's boyfriend and want to steal him?" Yiming asked. Yi Shaoshan crawled up and suddenly said, "That might really be possible. Chu Dan isn't a good person and she would never talk to us in such a low manner." Li Yan rolled her eyes. Siswang already said that it was her brother-in-law. PFTT. Chu Dan didn't go back to her dorm but instead called her father Chu Hang. "Father, do you think there are immortals in this world?" Chu Dan didn't like people being stronger than her but she respected her father a lot. Chu Hang was just ready to go to his office and received this strange call. Dan, why are you thinking of something this strange in the morning?" "There's a meeting at the company, I'm busy." "Dad, just answer me, are there people who are able to fly on clouds?" Chu Dan interrupted. Chu Hang frowned but didn't reproach his daughter. "You can't say it's impossible. Our Chu family ancestor seems to be involved in cultivation. Our Chu family dragon door disc is passed down from our ancestor." Chu Hang said, "You only need to know it's possible. Focus your efforts on studying. It's not something you should be caring about now." "Then Dad, you taught brother to meditate and practice Qigong, is that passed down from ancestor?" Siyu Dan asked. Chu Deng agreed. "You don't even want to learn those things, why are you asking now?" "That's right, it's passed down from our ancestor, but it's only some Qigong to strengthen the body. It's very different than ancient martial arts, and rarely do the people in our family get sick. We live long lives also due to this. If you're interested, I can teach you when I come back." "Dad, if I told you I saw someone fly on the clouds yesterday, would you believe it?" Chu Dan suddenly felt her Chu family wasn't ordinary. "Blasphemy! I'm going to have a meeting, don't think too much. It's going to affect your studies. We can talk at night." Chu Hang hung up. Chu Dan was dazed for a moment before saying to herself, "I knew you guys wouldn't believe it." At this moment, Yemo got the last 2 fish tails and was with Muin and Ning Siswang. Muin saw Yemo land in the backyard from the sky with Ning Siswang and completely believed Yemo's words. She really didn't expect there was something such as cultivation in this world. But after knowing that her daughter was no longer on Earth but on Luoyu continent, she couldn't control her longing for her daughter. However, Ning Sis Huang was getting more and more excited. Stars were about to pop out of her eyes. Looking at the two fish tails, Emo was thankful to Ning Xuyen. If these two fish tails were lost, it wouldn't be easy to find them even with his spirit sense. Emo, is it hard to come back after we go to Luoyu City this time? Muin asked. Emo shook his head. After going to Luoyu City, I will be leaving. It's very hard for me to come back, but if you want to go to Ninghai, you can go at any time. However, I suggest not to come back too often. You need to have a peaceful heart for cultivation. Otherwise, your progress won't be much. Who knows when will be the next time I can come back with Jing Wen and them? Maybe 10 years or maybe 100 years. Emo didn't say that if he ascended into the immortal ascension, it would be even harder to come back to Earth. The dimension was much sturdier in the immortal realm than in the cultivation realm. Brother-in-law, didn't you fly back with me on a cloud? Why is it a flying boat now? Ning Siswang thought flying on the clouds was much cooler. Emo was speechless. Using clouds is not practical. It's slow and wastes cultivation essence. Even though Emo used a top-grade spirit artifact, they still reached back Luoyu City in a very short time. Although he had seen Luoyu City's prosperity in his spirit sense, when he truly saw it, Emo was still excited. Although he didn't build everything, it was founded by him. Seeing Emo come back, Ning Zhongfei and Lan Yu's eyes turned red. They wanted to ask Ning Qingshua's whereabouts immediately, but they knew Emo would tell them. Emo spent more than half the day explaining to them what he said to Ning Siswang and Muin last night. The couple were disappointed that Qingxua wasn't back, but thinking that if they focused on cultivation, they might be able to see their daughter again, they forced themselves to calm down. Just when Emo wanted to go see Huang Yinian and them, Lan Yu asked, Emo, did you see Qi Wan Qing there? Emo immediately remembered and felt guilty. She wasn't his wife, but she went with Jing Wen and them to Luo Yu and disappeared. But he never thought of visiting her parents. Her parents came to Luo Yu a few times asking if you were back. Eventually, they just moved to Luo Yu City waiting for you and retiring here, Ning Zhongfei said. Emo scanned his spirit sense out, and soon saw a row of small houses in which Tang Qianping lived. Her face looked very similar to Qi Wanqing, and Emo guessed she was Qi Wanqing's mother. It should be her father next to Tang Qianping. Emo frowned. Why are they living on the outskirts? Ning Longfei sighed. What's going on? Emo asked. He had a good impression of Qi Wanqing, and she was lost in Luo Yu continent due to him. He should stand up for Qi Wanqing's parents. What's going on? Emo asked. He had a good impression of Qi Wanqing, and she was lost in Luo Yu continent due to him. He should stand up for Qi Wanqing's parents. Lan Yu looked at Emo's face and knew he thought that what happened with the Dongfang family happened again. Lan Yu quickly said, her parents were very worried that Qi Wanqing left. After her father retired, he didn't stay in the military and moved to Luo Yu City. Luo Yu City has become the world's prettiest city under the work of City Lord Huang and them. Muin nodded. Yes, in order to find Jing Wen, I came here a few times. I heard that those who live in Luo Yu City have better health on average. Lan Yu nodded. But it's a pity, there are too many people wanting to come to Luo Yu City. Because of this, Luo Yu City's land prices are soaring higher and higher. It's not something ordinary people can afford. Wanqing's parents have some savings, but they can't afford a better place. Emo frowned and asked, Wanqing's mother has a big company and their family is wealthy, how can they not afford to live better? Lan Yu sighed. After Wanqing went missing, her mother didn't have the mind to run her company, and it soon started losing money. Soon, it was taken over by another company. They didn't care about the company profits, so they just came to Luo Yu City. Just when Emo wanted to talk, his spirit sense scanned that at the center of Luo Yu City, Huang Yinian and them were having a meeting. There was a man in his 30s sitting next to Huang Yinyang. He slammed the table, seeming very angry. But neither Huang Yinian nor Yu Miaodan and them said anything. Instead, they listened to the man yell at them. Emo was immediately unhappy. Regardless if Huang Yinian was right or wrong, he was the city lord. How dare someone slam the table in front of him? This was too absurd. Huang Yinian led Luoyu City to such prosperity. How could he allow such person to be in the city lord estate meeting? Yemo got up and said to Lan Yu, "Auntie, I'm going to the city lord estate once. I want you to bring Wanqing's parents to live at Luoyu Lake too. It's pretty big after all. Of course, I want you to tell them what I told you. If they want to see Wanqing again, they have to cultivate at Luoyu Lake." Then, Yemo took out 3 bottles of pills and gave them to Muin. "Auntie Mu, you've had these pills already, just give everyone one." Lan Yu and them hadn't seen these pills, but they knew they were substantial. Muin was a prime example. They hadn't seen her for so long, and yet she seemed so young. Clearly this wasn't normal. "Go do what you need to do. I will go check on Wanqing's parents with Zhongfei soon," Lan Yu quickly said. "City Lord Huang, I don't get why not." You've seen the development of Luoyu City in recent years. I'm not wrong if we change that to be the World Trade and Economic Center. It would boost Luoyu's economy again. The middle-aged man slammed his hand. Huang Yinian waited till the man was done and said, "If I say no, then no. Other places are fine but not there. Suojin, I know Luoyu's development is inseparable with your planning, but that is non-negotiable." Huang Yinian called him by his full name. Clearly City Lord Huang was unhappy too. Suojin slammed the table again and got up in agitation. He was almost yelling, "City Lord Huang, why is your brain as hard as wood? Luoyu Lake is taking up such a huge place, and only the Ning Zhongfei couple are living there. This is a waste. And Luoyu Lake's owner Yemo didn't do any procedures. One could say that land belongs to the government. We're not saying they can't live here, but we're just telling them to change places and make Luoyu Lake the economic center. Look at all these economic policies I've made. Which one was wrong?" Yu Miaodan suddenly got up and said, "Suojin, if you dare to call city lords' names straight out like that, I will remove you from the list of future city lords. No one who doesn't respect the city lord deserves to become the city lord. City lord is being polite, saying that Luoyu belongs to everyone, but Luoyu City is City Lord Yemo's city. Agree or not, that's the reality." Suojin looked calmly at Yu Miaodan and said, "Does Vice City Lord you think this is a fascist time? You can remove my name however you like? One person's city? Luoyu is now a democratic city. No one dares to call it one person's city." Huang Yinian got up. "I agree with Vice City Lord Yu on this. Luoyu City is one person's city, Yemo's city. No one can change that. Those who agree with us can stand up, those who don't can remain seated." Lu Lin, Guiqi, Li Sandao, Xie, and Fan Wei got up without hesitation. Xin Qianqian also got up after a slight hesitation. There were more than 10 people in here and more than half got up. Suojin looked at Xin Qianqian with annoyance. "Director Xin, do you think I'm wrong? During these years, which of my policies didn't encourage the development of Luoyu? Which one was of selfish intent?" Xin Qianqian's face changed, and after a while she said, "Vice City Lord So, you're right, and your contribution to Luoyu City these years are undeniable. But I really don't get why you must take that Luoyu Lake. I've said it many times, it's the place that can allow Luoyu to soar into the skies." Suojin said unhappily. Xin Qianqian shook her head. "I don't really mean it when I say I don't get it. Due to your contribution to Luoyu, knowing that City Lord Huang and you won't agree, I haven't said anything. But every meeting, you're trying to force this matter. Oh, then tell me, Director Xin. Everyone sees how wholeheartedly I worked for Luoyu City." "There's nothing I can say." Suojin calmed down. Xin Qianqian continued, "If it was something else I would agree, but I owe Brother Yi a great deal. Without him, there wouldn't be me today. I love business, but after all these years, I've already realized my dream. I stay here not for my ideals but to genuinely help Brother Ye's Luoyu City." Xin Qianqian looked coldly at Suojin. "Do you know why I didn't stand up immediately? It's because I really don't want you to have conflict with everyone. Everyone knows Vice City Lord Suo's capabilities, and this is the main reason City Lord Huan lets you off. In here, No one is more suited to be the next city lord besides you, but you're doubting who Luoyu City belongs to. I'll tell you right now, Luoyu City is Brother Ye's no matter the time. I know you might not work wholeheartedly for Luoyu City after this, but this is reality. Soajin grunted. No matter what you say, my passion for Luoyu City won't be lesser than any of you. No matter what opinions you have of me, I will still work for Luoyu City. Everyone isn't calm now. I suggest to end the meeting and discuss it next time. Xin Qianqian shook her head. Since I chose to speak out today, I don't intend to discuss it next time. I know what you want. You indeed don't intend to harm Luoyu City, but you're too selfish. Soajin was about to say something, but Xin Qianqian waved her hand. Don't get agitated, let me finish. I'm saying you're selfish because of Luoyu Lake. Brother Yi chose that place himself. It's the best place in Luoyu City. It's not just a place anymore, it's a symbolism of Luoyu's creator. The longer the time passes, the more the citizens of Luoyu City will respect it, and you want to take it first because that's the best place, but more importantly your ambitions are too great. You want to replace Brother Yi, and when the World Economic Center is built, people will gradually forget the founder of Luoyu, Emo, and only remember the person who built this economic center, which would be you. Suojin's face looked bad. This is a democratic world, not individual heroism. Director Shin, please don't say things like that. Xin Qianqian said calmly. You know you're definitely the next city lord, so you just want everyone to remember you. I am the next city lord, but... Soajin grunted. Wrong, you're not the next city lord. A calm voice interrupted him. City Lord Yi. Everyone who stood up called out in surprise and joy. Yemo didn't change at all, instead he looked even younger. City Lord Yi. Everyone who stood up called out in surprise and joy. Yemo didn't change at all, instead he looked even younger. Huang Yinian was overjoyed. He didn't expect to be able to see Yemo again, as none of those who went to the small world could come back, but Yemo came back. Huang Yinian got off his seat without hesitation and said, City Lord Yi, sit here. No one felt strange that Huang Yinian moved aside, as Yemo was back. City Lord Yemo. Soajin called out in shock. Yemo ignored him and smiled. Sister Yu, Lu Lin, Gui Qi, Li Sandao, Shi Xiu, Fang Wei, Director Qianqian, long time no see. The heavy atmosphere in the meeting room became lightened. After Yemo sat down on Huang Yinian's seat and let everyone sit down, he said to Huang Yinian, City Lord Huang, thank you for leading Luoyu City to such prosperity. Sit beside me. Huang Yinian was overjoyed that Yemo approved of his work and sat down next to Yemo without hesitation. Seeing Yemo sit down in the city lord's seat without hesitation, there was a sliver of discomfort in Soajin's eyes, but he said nothing. Soajin's discomfort was caught by Li Sandao. Li Sandao sneered, how dare he act like that in front of Yemo? Even powerful people like Qian Longtu and Dongfang family were annihilated clean by Yemo. There was blood everywhere in this meeting room, but Soajin was too young and didn't see it. Soajin wanted to remove Yemo's status in Luoyu City just because he made some contributions to Luoyu City. He was mad. Luckily he didn't tell Yemo to leave like the Dongfang family, or no one would be able to save him. Yemo said, I've left Luoyu for more than 10 years and Luoyu is looking so prosperous. Clearly everyone here has worked hard, I thank you for that. Luoyu City is our city, we are willing to do all that. Soajin said. How could everyone not know what Soajin meant? He was implying that Luoyu isn't the Luoyu before, it has nothing to do with you. We're not doing this for you but for Luoyu City. It was natural that capable people were cocky, but this guy dared to try take away Luoyu Lake. This touched Yemo's bottom line. He established Luoyu to build a peaceful environment, but it was important that Qingxue, Luoying and them liked this environment. Put straightforwardly, he built this place for his family and friends, not to maintain world peace and equality. He wasn't that noble. He didn't allow anyone to assault anyone, especially anyone to assault his family and friends. Huang Yinian heard this and immediately knew things weren't good. Soajin was capable, but his words already angered Emo, and so he quickly said, Luoyu City looks like this today mostly due to Director Chan Qian and Vice City Lord So. Emo nodded. I heard that Luoyu City land prices are very high. City Lord Yi, tell me the recent policies. Emo wasn't going to intervene in politics and economy here, but since it involved Luoyu Lake, he wasn't going to go easy. Yes. Huang Yinian sighed. He knew Yemo's character decently. He was old and didn't mind losing some face in front of young people for Luoyu. After all, when he retired, Luoyu would depend on these young people. But the founder was Yemo, and he wouldn't allow anyone to do that. Luoyu City's immigration policy was changed. It's arranged due to assets, only those with certain financial power can move to Luoyu City. Those poor families can give their residence to wealthier people to live here. Huang Yinian said. Yemo immediately said coldly, from today on, Luoyu City will stop migration. As for those who forcefully make poor families move out of Luoyu, kick them out of the city. Yes. Huang Yinian immediately nodded. Huang Yinian knew this would let Luoyu become wealthy rapidly, but it wasn't the best long-term plan. Soajin's face was very bad, but he didn't say anything. He made this policy. Yemo scanned his spirit sense and saw ships loaded with weapons about to leave and immediately asked, why is Luoyu weapons being shipped out? Because our weapons are leading the world and many countries have ordered from us. If we sell weapons we can earn large amounts of foreign income. Soajin said. Who made this policy? Yemo asked. Soajin immediately replied. I did. Those economic policies that allowed Luoyu to rise up shortly were all made by me. Yes, the reason Luoyu can have today is due to Vice City Lord So's economic plans. Due to this, he is the anointed next city lord. Everyone agrees to this, and so does the people of Luoyu. Another man in his 30s got up and said. Seeing Yemo look at this person, Yu Miaodong quickly said, this is our new Luoyu commercial vice director, Luan Ming. He's the next commercial director. He graduated from Harvard University. Yemo said plainly. The next city lord will be Shi Xiu, the next commercial director will be decided by Xin Qianqian. Choose someone who came from Luoyu. As for Soajin and Luan Ming, from today onwards won't have any duties in Luoyu City. City Lord Yi Yu. Soajin got up furiously seeing Yemo kick him out. Luoyu is everyone's. I worked arduously for Luoyu for so many years. What right do you have to do this? You have no position in Luoyu right now and left Luoyu for so many years. What right do you have to point fingers at Luoyu management? Luoyu belongs to everyone, not someone. You have no authority to do this. Yemo said coldly. I said Luoyu is everyone's, not you. Soajin's face was green. Yemo meant that he didn't have the right to say Luoyu is everyone's. Yemo asked. Soajin's details. No one knew what Yemo meant but only Lu Lin. Moments later, a girl came into the meeting room. Luoyu's security was on par with military bases. Yemo was powerful and thus he could come in without being noticed, but this girl wasn't stopped too. The girl held a paper but she didn't come in and just read at the door. Soajin, parents are American citizens. Graduated at Harvard 13 years ago and went to Cambridge. After studying for 4 years he graduated and came to Luoyu. He came into the city lord estate within 3 years due to his knowledge and cleverness. 4 years ago, he was vice commercial director. 2 years ago, he became vice city lord and was anointed the next city lord. During his term as vice city lord, he was in content with American business tycoon Ersi. Ersi also has another identity. He's a member of a spy organization. Soajin was shivered hearing this. He had only been in contact with Ersi once, and this was investigated. Not only this, but even Ersi's identity was exposed. Just how many secrets were in Luoyu that he didn't know? Luan Ming graduated from Yale 10 years ago. He has been in contact with Medusai from the CIA during his time studying. 6 years ago, he came to Luoyu City and became the vice commercial director. The girl read emotionlessly. During their terms, Luan Ming and Suo Jin spilled military secrets twice and commercial secrets 5 times and used their means to launder few hundred million Luoyu dollars. The Luoyu Safety Department has decided to execute Suo Jin, Luan Ming, Yujinshan, Buwei Zhang. On the day Suo Jin takes over as city lord and declare publicly their sins. During their terms, Luan Ming and Suo Jin spilled military secrets twice and commercial secrets 5 times and used their means to launder few hundred million Luoyu dollars. The Luoyu Safety Department has decided to execute Suo Jin, Luan Ming, Yujinshan, Buwei Zhang. On the day Suo Jin takes over as city lord and declare publicly their sins. Then, the girl bowed and exited the meeting room. The meeting room fell in tense silence. Yemo sneered. He could easily make Suo Jin say what he has done, but he wouldn't be the one managing Luoyu later. Doing this had greater effect on fearing those with bad intentions. After all, the old people would retire and Luoyu needed fresh blood. After the Dongfang family incident, Yemo was vigilant. He anointed Lu Lin and she didn't disappoint him. Although she didn't take any actions, the investigation was very clear. Yu Miaodan and Huang Yinian sighed. After what happened last time, there was no way Yemo would let the same thing happen again. It was indeed so. Pity that Suo Jin, he was indeed capable. The reason Luoyu was so developed was indeed greatly due to Suo Jin. So even though Suo Jin made some small mistakes, Huang Yinian pretended he didn't see. But Huang Yinian didn't know he spilled military secrets. Take him away, Yemo said coldly. Suo Jin yelled. Yemo, you have no right to do this to me. You're not a member of Luoyu city government. This is dictatorship, this is desecration of human rights. But no matter how he yelled, he was taken away by Guichi. Yemo shook his head. If this was Mou City he would have threw a fireball over already, but this was Luoyu City and many of them would be managing Luoyu City. If he did this, it wouldn't be good. If he was going to stay here for long term it was fine, but he was going to leave soon. After that, Yemo didn't involve in the discussion of Luoyu matters but just stayed on the side and listened. He also suggested that Luoyu shouldn't be selling weapons as their main source of income. Luoyu Pharmaceuticals was the best economic source. No matter what Suo Jin did, when Yemo came, all his means were rendered useless. Even if he took over Luoyu Lake, what awaited him would be certain death. Luoyu's martial academy not only protected the safety of high authorities in the city but also protected Yemo's Luoyu City. If Suo Jin took over Luoyu Lake and kicked Yemo's family away, how can the martial academy let him go? Suo Jin was dominating politically in Luoyu City, but he didn't know where Luoyu's power truly laid. Even though Yemo said nothing, but him sitting here sped up the discussion. Shishio didn't have Suo Jin's brains, but there wouldn't be a huge problem with him managing the city. Yemo didn't participate in the afternoon discussion and just went back to Luoyu Lake. Qi Wanqing's parents were already here and they clearly all ate his pills. Qi Wanqing's mother immediately asked Yemo where Qi Wanqing was, but Yemo didn't know where she was as well. He could only say that she was safe in North Far State with Little Wolf. In the next few days, Yemo taught them cultivation, and regardless if they had spirit root or not, Yemo gave them a 5-essence pill. During this time, Yemo also spent a week planting 3 extreme grade spirit range below Luoyu Lake and 2 below Luoyu City. Then, he set up a level 9 attack formation, level 9 defense formation and level 9 spirit gathering formation next to Luoyu Lake. He also set up another level 9 attack and defense formation outside Luoyu City. With this, even missiles wouldn't be able to get into Luoyu, plus Luoyu had its own anti-missile system. Luoyu's spirit chi was so dense now that it could compare with South Peace State Pills City. Yemo didn't give the Jade card to controlling the formation to the City Lord estate, but gave it to his father-in-law Ning Zhongfei. After that, Yemo was completely free. Although Ning Siswang wanted Yemo to take her around and fly, but seeing everyone was cultivating, she didn't want to be dropped behind, so she cultivated too. Yemo didn't piece together the yin-yang fish. Instead, he found a quiet place and searched for Yun Bing and Ting Ting with his spirit sense. If they weren't living well, Yemo would bring them over, but if they were, he wouldn't disturb them. He spent an entire morning and even left Luoyu City just to cover all the countries on Earth, but Yemo was disappointed. He wasn't able to find them. Half a day had passed, and Yemo was very tired. He used a spirit recovery pill and rested for half a day before barely recovering his spirit sense. Although he knew Yunbing wouldn't go back to Beijing Yun family, but he still decided to go there and ask after he pieced together the yin-yang fish. Yemo was level 9 Forgery Grand Master and Formation Grand Master. He really wanted to know what level Chu Jiuyu's forgery and formation skills were at to be able to create such a formation disc. Soon, the pieces were connected. Crack, the yin-yang fish had no spirit waves or power, but it closed together tightly. One could not tell that they were pieces just then. This wasn't it. The dull yin-yang fish turned very lustrous after rejoining together. Yemo took in a cold breath. He realized that this fish was a formation disc formation heart. He thought fish jump through Dragon Gate was a one-way teleportation formation, but now it seemed he was wrong. He didn't think he would be able to make such a formation disc. Thus, that Chu Jiuyu was at least a low-grade immortal formation master. Yemo sighed. Compared with Chu Jiuyu, his talent wasn't talent. He had this accomplishment today due to luck, but what did Chu Jiuyu rely on? He flipped the fish around and was helpless. He could tell this was a space travel formation disc. It had the same use as space transmission rune, but it was better than that. The rune needed extremely powerful spirit chi to activate, but this didn't. Thus, it was clear that either Chu Jiuyu didn't know rune making, or he knew that space transmission rune wouldn't work on Earth, so he changed the rune into a formation disc. This not only required solid formation skills but also very powerful forgery skills and knowledge of tearing dimensions. Yemo was helpless because he could tell that the pieces were joined, but he couldn't activate it. This was a formation heart. It still lacked a formation disc. Only when the two combined together could he use this. This meant that he had the fish but not the gate, and thus he can't jump through it. Yemo knew that if his formation skills were a little higher, he would be able to make this formation disc himself. Yemo put the fish away and had decided to check on Zaishan again. When he scanned his spirit sense there at his antique shop, he didn't see Zaishan, but his granddaughter Ning was there. In a restaurant outside the Ninghai Uni, Chu Dan's father Chu Heng's face kept changing. In a restaurant outside the Ninghai Uni, Chu Dan's father Chu Heng's face kept changing. Chu Dan sat opposite him but didn't dare to talk. The reason Chu Heng came was because she had thought about things for a week and called him again. This time, Chu Dan said more certainly. She said she definitely saw Yemo fly on clouds. He felt his daughter wasn't lying, but he was worried that something was wrong mentally with her, and that's why Chu Heng rushed to Ninghai. I really saw it. I was dumbfounded at the time, so I didn't capture it with my phone, Chu Dan said again. Chu Heng waved his hand. I know you're telling the truth. I checked your university's recording. There was no sign of Ning Sis Wang leaving. As for her brother-in-law, there was no footage of him going in or not. It was though he appeared out of nowhere and disappeared into nothing. Plus, the pictures your university's news department was also blurry. It was too much of a coincidence to say the cameras happened to break at that time. So I know you're telling the truth. Then what do we do? Chu Dan's voice was desperate. Thinking that Ning Sis Wang dropped out of university to pursue cultivation, her heart was burning like fire. She couldn't bear that her opponent was on the path to immortality, while she was fighting over an image representative. Chu Heng sighed. We have no way. We can't find the person taking Ning Sis Wang to cultivate, but even if we find him, what can we do? I really didn't expect there is such thing in the world. What does that Ning Sis Wang have? Why was that little girl chosen by the cultivator? Chu Dan asked desperately. Chu Heng knew his daughter better than anyone. He knew that her daughter was being jealous. He felt that she should wake up from this. If she was sunk into this, she perhaps would have no future. Thinking about this, Chu Heng said seriously, Dan, it's said that those cultivators need to balance yin and yang, and thus they're especially interested in virgin girls. So it might not be a bad thing that you didn't encounter him. If it's a powerful cultivator who wants to take you away, it's useless to even call the police. Chu Dan raised her lips but didn't argue. She clearly didn't agree to her father's words. As long as she could cultivate, she would be willing to do anything. She even cursed Yumo's eyes. What did Ning Siswang have? Her chest was that small and was a far cry compared to her. She still seemed like a baby? That cultivator must be blind to take this little girl. And Ning was playing with a jade in her boredom, but her eyes weren't focused on the jade. Long time no see, Ning. Yemo walked in and she didn't even notice. Seeing this, Ning looked up and immediately recognized Yemo. She said in shock, "You're Yemo? You're back?" Yemo looked at Ning's necklace. After all these years it was still the same. Yemo nodded. "I just came back. Where is your grandpa?" "You came to find my grandpa?" Ning subconsciously asked. "I thought you came to find Jichi." Yemo just remembered. "How is Jichi?" Ning said dejectedly. "She has been missing for more than a decade. Sister Yun brought Ting Ting to find you at Luoyu but met Ziki, who just came back. She said that you had left Luoyu City. Sister Yun was very disappointed and left with Ting Ting. Jichi said she would send Sis Yun back and they disappeared. You're saying Yunbing came to Luoyu to find me?" Yemo asked in shock. And Ning nodded. Yemo fell silent. Missing for more than a decade, did they go to the teleportation formation at Duanheng Ranges too? A lot of people left Luoyu City to go to the teleportation formation too, including Eru, Zhang Jian, Suyuehua, Fang Nan, and so. Yunbing came at that time. Who knows if she went in too? But that also meant that Yunbing didn't go back to the Yun family, so he didn't need to go visit there. And Ning suddenly said, "My grandpa passed away 3 years ago. Did you need something?" Hearing this, Yemo sighed. "On Earth, if you don't cultivate, so what if you live more than 100 years? You would still end up as Earth." Yemo asked. "I traded the fish eye your grandpa gave you, and he also gave me a jade card. He said that Zhang Jihui gave it to him. Do you know where Zhang Jihui got it?" And Ning shook her head. "I don't know, I never asked Grandpa about these things." Yemo didn't have the mood to stay anymore and thanked her before turning to leave. And Ning said at this moment, "City Lord Yi, when Sister Yun left she said that if you came back you can go to where she lived in Ninghai. She says she has something for you. Although she's gone, but I feel I need to tell you that." Yemo nodded and left the shop unhappily. After going back to Luoyu Lake, Yemo told Ning Qingshue's parents that he would be leaving Luoyu again. They didn't say anything, they knew that Yemo couldn't stay and they couldn't leave with him. Perhaps one day when they reach a level of cultivation they can leave with Yemo to visit their daughter in Mou City. Yemo had decided to visit Yunbing's palsy first, and then set up a few level 9 attack formation in the wilderness and attack the void. Then he would try to tear the dimension. If that didn't work, he would go see if he can repair the formation at Duanheng Ranges. Leaving Luoyu, Yemo suddenly felt sad. He actually didn't know where his home was nor where he should go. He didn't fly high. Seagulls passed below his feet on the Indian Ocean. Yemo suddenly was shook. Why was he hesitating? He needed to get to Mou City. His wife and friends were all there. Realizing this, Yemo's heart opened up. He felt his understanding of state increased, and his domain was perfected more. Yemo howled and disappeared on Zisu in the sky. The worst thing for cultivators was hesitation. Luckily he had been cultivating next to the bitter bamboo, or his mind would have been invaded by the heart demon. Ninghai, Yemo was planning to go to Yunbing's house, but his spirit sense scanned Ningxian. She was still at Ninghai University. Thinking about this, Yemo relayed why she was here. She was probably here to find Ning Siswang. Ning Xuyan didn't seem to be in a good mood. She probably didn't find Ning Siswang and was sitting dazedly by the lake. Yemo had decided to tell her, but as soon as he walked into the forest, an extremely excited voice stopped him. "Brother-in-law, I found you again. Please don't fly away again. Whatever Siswang has, I have too. Mine is better than hers." That voice said shakily. It was Chu Dan. he didn't even need to think why she stopped him. Before Yemo could talk, Chu Dan suddenly pulled down her top and even half of her blue bra, showing two huge snow-white rabbits. Before Yemo could talk, Chu Dan suddenly pulled down her top and even half of her blue bra, showing two huge snow-white rabbits. The sturdy red points on the white rabbits were very vibrant. Even Yemo had to approve that her chest was extremely beautiful. Although Yemo could stop her from doing that, he didn't do it. What she did had nothing to do with him. Even if she was going to strip herself naked, it had nothing to do with me. Look, I won't be any worse than Ning Siswang. I'm a virgin, I definitely am. I promise I will listen to you and I will do anything you tell me to, Chu Dan said, as though fearing Yemo would fly away. Then she reached out her hand to grab his hand, as though wanting to let Yemo feel her chest. Yemo sneered. How could he let Chu Dan grab his hand? He didn't want to talk to her anymore, but as he was about to leave, Ning Xian ran over. Ning Xian saw Chu Dan with messy clothes and a worried face, and also saw Yemo sneering. She was shook. She really didn't understand why Yemo was doing this here. Before she could speak, a few other students saw this and also ran over. Ning Xian quickly helped Chu Dan pull up her clothes covering her chest before pulling Yemo away. Yemo was looking for her anyways, so he didn't resist her pulling him away. When Chu Dan realized what was going on, Yemo and Ning Xian had turned a corner and disappeared into the trees. Ning Xian was very worried, harassing a female student in the school and tearing off her bra. If Yemo was caught, he would be sent to jail. Yemo had the capability to not go jail, but he was Luoyu City Lord. If news got out, he would be ashamed. She really didn't understand why Yemo would publicly do this to a girl. Plus, even if Yemo did something HWO, could he let other people see it? Yemo! Ning Xian's hands were shaky and her face was very bad. We should leave quickly. If other people see you do this, you're over. Yemo sighed and pulled away his hand. Don't worry. Seeing that Yemo wasn't worried at all, Ning Xian said more anxiously. It's all too easy to take photos now. We should leave quickly. If you really need it, even I'm fine. Don't do this to students here. Sishuang's parents care about their face. Yemo looked at Ning Xian strangely, not expecting her to do this. Ning Xian knew Yemo misunderstood her, and quickly explained. I'm saying even if you do something to me, you can't do that to the students here, or not now. Ning Xian felt she was getting too desperate, so she stopped talking. She knew Yemo had understood her meaning. Yemo sighed. Compared to the Ning Xian a decade ago, this Ning Xian changed so much. Perhaps due to the fall of the Ning family, she learned a lot of things. Yemo waved his hand. Xian, don't worry. I'm not that desperate. It's a misunderstanding before. I came here to find you. Ning Xian didn't believe this at all. First of all, Yemo didn't even know she was here. Second, she saw that girl's bra being pulled down. That girl wasn't crazy. Why would she do that to herself? Clearly Yemo did it. But before she said anything, Chu Dan ran over. She didn't even tidy up her clothes. Ning Xian's face changed again and wanted to pull Yemo away, but Chu Dan ran over and knelt on the ground. Immortal Master, I can do anything, just please take me in as a disciple. Ning Xian dazed. What was going on? Was this girl mentally challenged? What did she mean kneeling on the ground and calling Yemo an immortal master? Looking at her pretty face and desperate eyes, she clearly wasn't mentally ill. It was obvious just looking at her face that she was very cunning. Yemo knew what Chu Dan wanted, but there was no way he would take someone like her as a disciple. Whether it was what she did to Ning Siswang or what she did just then, it all showed that she was a woman who would do anything to get what she wanted. Yemo really disliked this. Let's go, Yemo said to Ning Xian. Ning Xian also seemed to realize that Yemo didn't harass this girl, but this girl did it herself. Seeing that Yemo was going to go, Chu Dan was desperate and quickly crawled up to pull Yemo's clothes, but she felt that she couldn't move at all. She further confirmed her guess in her heart, and was overjoyed and desperate. Immortal Master, my Chu family used to cultivate too. Now, we still have a dragon door disc that was passed down, Chu Dan said desperately. She didn't need to say no more as Yemo stopped. He heard that dragon door disc and he realized that her name was Chu. Yemo turned around and she was overjoyed. She didn't know why Yemo turned around, but she knew she had hope now. Your Chu family has a dragon door disc? Yemo asked. Chu Dan quickly said, Yes, my Chu family ancestor passed it down. My father called it dragon door disc. If Immortal Master wants to take me in as disciple, I can get my father to give the disc to you. I'm also willing to serve by your side. Ning Xuyen completely realized what was going on. She knew Yemo was very powerful, but she was still doubtful about him being an Immortal Master. She felt quite embarrassed that she thought Yemo was very horny before. Where is your house? Yemo asked, and Chu Dan felt she could move again. Chu Dan was so overjoyed that her heart was palpitating rapidly. She quickly said, Luotsang. Yemo didn't expect Chu Dan to be from Luotsang. He had been there a few times and bought a house there. Yemo asked again. Be specific. Xian Yun Road, 763. It's a private mansion. Yemo's spirit sense already scanned there. It was a very big private mansion. It was luxurious and had a lot of land. Clearly, the Chu family was very wealthy. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in and didn't take much time to find a dragon door disc contained in a huge jade box inside a safety keep in the main bedroom. Just that huge jade box was priceless. Yemo saw the dragon door disc and knew it was the thing he was looking for. Yemo realized this Chu Dan quite possibly was Chu Jiuyu's descendant and Lin Yibin's Wanbei. Thinking about the loyal Lin Yibin, Yemo was hesitating. If it was some ordinary person, he would take the dragon door disc and give some compensation. But Lin Yibin was his helpful assistant. He clearly can't agree to her being his disciple. But if he disagreed, he would feel guilty to Lin Yibin. He really didn't like this Chu Dan. Yemo said to Chu Dan, Go wait for me at the school gates. I'm busy, I'll go find you later. Yemo said to Chu Dan, Go wait for me at the school gates. I'm busy, I'll go find you later. Chu Dan showed her wits now and led immediately. She knew that if Yemo was really going to leave, there was no point of her staying here. Then, Ning Xuyen asked in confusion, What is this? How is your company? Yemo asked casually. Ning Xuyen nodded. I'm planning to give the Ning Family Corporation to Ning Yan for management. I'm going to move to Luoyu. Yemo said casually. Sis Wang has gone back to Luoyu. If you want to go to Luoyu, then go to Luoyu Lake to find Sis Wang. If you want to cultivate, then cultivate with Sis Wang. If you don't want to cultivate, settling in Luoyu is a good choice too. Ning Xuyen shook her head, clearly not interested in cultivation. Yemo saw this and didn't say much. I'm going. What, already? Ning Xuyen subconsciously asked. Yes, if you have anything you can ask Sishuang's father for help. Goodbye. Yemo disappeared in front of her. Ning Xuyen stared dazedly at this scene, and after a long while, she sighed and walked towards the uni gates. Chu Dan stood in the middle of the school gates. Even though the security guards reminded her a few times, she didn't want to move to the side, fearing that Yemo wouldn't see her. But she knew that it was impossible. She was more scared that Yemo didn't take her seriously and forgot about it. Just when she was still nervous, she suddenly felt she was grabbed into the air. She was shook, but then she immediately rejoiced. She guessed that only that brother-in-law would have such heavenly means. Yemo wasn't going to give up on her. He could easily take the dragon door disc, but he couldn't do that. Even stealing from an ordinary family was lowering his identity. Plus Chu Dan was Lin Yibin's Wanbei. Chu Dan was standing on Yemo's flying ship's spirit artifact, and although in a better state than Ning Siswang, she was still shaking. Little did she know that Yemo was also excited. He didn't think the dragon door disc was so easily obtained. He can easily leave Earth and head to Luoyu continent now. When Chu Dan calmed down, he asked plainly, I do need that dragon door disc, but I won't take you in as a disciple. You can either choose to have eternal youth, or I can give you the cultivation resource and cultivation method and you cultivate yourself. Huh? Chu Dan's joy cooled down by half. She already said she could do everything Ning Siswang was doing. Why didn't he want to take her in? I can do everything Siswang can do. I can do it better than her. Chu Dan wanted to fight for it regardless. Yemo's tone went cold. I'll say it one more last time. Which one do you want? Yemo had decided that if Chu Dan was still going to pester him, he would just take the Dragon Door disc and take away both options. He approved of her attitude to cultivate at all costs, but he really didn't like her as a person. Her emotional quotient was much higher than Ning Siswang, and the second time Yemo asked this she knew there it was non-negotiable. She said without hesitation, I want cultivation method and resource. She wants dumb. One clearly would preserve her youth if she achieved something in cultivation. Yemo nodded. Then go get your Dragon Door disc. We're already here? Chu Dan looked at the mansion in shock. This was clearly her house. How long has it been and they were here? Chu Heng came home with fatigue, but before he sat down, the maid said, Dan is back. What? Chu Heng asked in shock. He just came back from Ninghai, and when he left his daughter was still at uni. How could she be at home so quickly? How can things be this eerie? Maid asked in shock. CEO, didn't you go to Ninghai? I thought you came back with Dan. Dan brought back a friend and they've been upstairs for 3 hours. What friend? Chu Heng asked nervously. A very handsome young boy. Before she finished, Chu Heng already dashed upstairs. He knew his daughter was in a relationship and he didn't disapprove, but she was not allowed to bring him home. When he forced open his daughter's room, he remembered that the answer to how she was even here wasn't even solved. Thinking about this, he was cold. Dad, I gave the Dragon Door disc to someone else, Chu Dan said. Chu Heng was furious. He roared. Are you crazy? That's passed down by our ancestor. Who took it? Tell me. I'm going to ask for it back again. Chu Dan put down a few jade bottles and said calmly, It's that immortal I told you about. I met him again and he flew me back. He took the Dragon Door disc and gave me a bunch of cultivation resource. Dad, did I do things wrong? At least I can cultivate now. Chu Heng's fury dissipated and he calmed down. He already believed his daughter already. If she wasn't flown back, how could she come back so quickly? Are you for real? Where is the cultivation method? Chu Heng asked. Chu Dan pointed her at head. That person is too powerful. He says I can't read jade slips, so he just inserted the cultivation method in my brain. It's as clear as if I'm reading a book. I was just looking at the chi increasing pill. Chu Heng took a cold breath in. For real? He suddenly thought of something and asked nervously. Did he do anything to you such as... Chu Dan sneered. If that happened, it would be great. Dad, I thought you said he would take me as his disciple if I was willing to do anything for him, but he didn't even want to look at me. I really don't get why that Ning Sis Huang is better than me. Even though she's his disciple, I will surpass her with my own effort. Chu Heng took a cold breath in. He felt he was far from understanding his daughter. Yemo came to Yun Bing's place after taking the Dragon Door disc. There was a layer of dust on everything and Yemo casually swiped them away. That time, he disabled Jing Wenqiao and another man, and soon, so many years had passed. Yemo came into her room. The colors was still so simple, and a picture of her and Ting Ting hung on the wall. Yemo took the picture. He would keep it for memory. Suddenly, he saw a faint blue letter stuck behind the photo. Yemo opened it and saw. If you came and still remember us, you can see the letter Yun Bing. There was another line of small worlds. When I was born, you weren't. When you were born, I'm already old. I regret not being born the same time as you, and spend every day with you. Yemo looked at this and sighed. He couldn't repay her feelings, he couldn't even find her. Yemo put the picture and storage ring in his storage ring. When Yemo left Ninghai again, he knew that everything here would not be related to him anymore. He was leaving here. There was a lot of people waiting for him at MOU City. Months later, Emo came to the depth of the desert Taklamakan Desert to activate the formation disk. 1,000 extreme-grade spirit stones were set into a spirit-gathering formation. This formation disk didn't need a lot of spirit chi, but just in case he still set this up. He only had one chance. 1,000 extreme-grade spirit stones were set into a spirit-gathering formation. This formation disk didn't need a lot of spirit chi, but just in case he still set this up. He only had one chance. He knew that less than 1% of these spirit stones would be used after the activation, but he didn't mind. Whoever can get those unused spirit stones would be their fortune. These spirit stones can keep one healthy and extend one's life even if they weren't absorbed. Then, Emo took out the fish jump through Dragon Gate formation disc and placed the yin-yang fish and the dragon door disc together. Emo placed the formation disc in his hand and started inserting cultivation essence. Soon, it left Emo's hand and started spinning quickly. It started off slow, but as it devoured the spirit chi from Emo's spirit-gathering formation, it spun rapidly until a faint light enveloped Emo. 15 minutes later, there was a sudden explosion and a black figure disappeared. Nothing was left in this desert, but only the remnant broken dragon door disc showed that someone had left here. Emo realized that instant that even if he didn't use extreme-grade spirit stones, this space transmission formation disc would still be useful, but Emo didn't care. He cared about if he could use this opportunity to learn about space transmission. But Emo realized he overestimated himself. Even with his powerful spirit sense, he was a little dizzy. He couldn't check his surrounding at all. If it was some ordinary person, he would have fainted already. Thud. Emo woke up and he found he was on an island. Heartless Sea? Emo looked around and rejoiced. He knew he came back to the Heartless Sea indeed. It didn't teleport him to any big state, and he still landed in the Heartless Sea. Some minor problems probably happened to the space formation disk. Otherwise, he wouldn't be falling into the Heartless Sea. Not everyone could leave the Heartless Sea safely, but Emo didn't mind. He still had a flying ship from Su, and that flying ship's speed is just a little lesser than Blue Moon. With his current power, it would be completely for it to fly back to South Peace State. Emo stood on the coral island and sighed. He just needed to confirm how far South Peace State was. Emo took out a compass and wanted to see where he was in the Heartless Sea. Just a few thousand km ahead, there was a powerful cultivation essence wave. People were fighting? Emo scanned his spirit sense over and soon, he was speechless to find that he knew all three of them. It was a Truth Realization State Level 6 and a Truth Realization State Level 9 wanting to stop a Truth Realization State Level 4 female cultivator. This female cultivator had low cultivation level but was very powerful and charged out of their barricade many times. That Truth Realization State Level 9 and Truth Realization State Level 6 were the cultivators Emo had seen in the Dragonting Palace. The female cultivator was the Lost Soul Ruins nude female cultivator Miao Huijian. After his deal with her, she said he saved her and would forever treat him as her benefactor. Emo didn't mind, as if he didn't save her, she wouldn't let him go. Luckily, she was credible and didn't attack him after he saved her. But even though she was very powerful, she was only Truth Realization State Level 4 and was heaving injured under the combined attacks of the other two cultivators. Emo didn't intend to join this battle, and just when he was about to leave, he saw her flying towards him. Emo immediately knew that her spirit sense scanned him and wanted to use him. Emo cursed her. She completely forgot what she said about him before. Emo hid his power again. He was scared of trouble, but he wasn't scared of these Truth Realization State cultivators. Moments later, they came to where Emo was. "It's you?" the three said in unison. Miao Huijian frowned after saying this, but the other two were overjoyed. "I've been searching for you for so long. I finally see you again today. Great, this is great. I'm Lan Chirei, Chitian Island leader." That Truth Realization State Level 9 quickly said. Heaven Grade Level 7 Pill King, one that was about to reach Heaven Grade Level 8 Pill King. What was more enticing than this in the Heartless Sea? I'm Huang Qi of Yilin Island. The other truth realization state level 6 introduced. If it was some ordinary low-level cultivator, he would have kicked him away already. So it's Island Lord Lan and Island Lord Huang. I didn't expect for us to meet again so quickly. Yemo saluted with his fists calmly. He wanted to get back to South Peace State as quickly as possible, but he could ask the two the way. Yemo said to Miao Huizhen, Sister Miao, we met again so quickly too. Before she could talk, Lan Qirui laughed. So Sister Miao is Pil King Ye's friend, then you're our friend. Apologies for the offense before. Moments later, Miao Huizhen realized she went from being hunted to being a friend. Yemo hid his power, but Miao Huizhen knew Yemo was only cauldron filling state level 2. Yemo was this young, how could he be a Pil King? This place isn't very far from my Qitian island. Come with us to my island Pil King Yi. It's a shabby island, but we won't mistreat Pil King Yi. We can have a celebration, by the way, you must come haha. Lan Qirui said. Miao Huizhen was locked up in the Lost Soul ruins, but she knew from these simple words that Yemo really was a Pil King, and these two clearly didn't want to let Yemo go. Realizing this, Miao Huizhen got a headache. She had sworn before to treat Yemo as her savior, but she can't even save herself now. Clearly it was impossible to save Yemo. But if she didn't help, her oath was very deadly. Divine damnation devouring her heart, that was breaking off her Dao path. Thinking about this, Miao Huizhen regretted coming here. Yemo smiled plainly. Very sorry, but I have other business. I can't go with you to your shabby island. Lan Qirui was being humble, saying his island was shabby, and he invited Yemo with underlying threat intentions. This Pil King Yi was too cocky. Lan Qirui's face sunk immediately. Huang Qi suddenly reached out with his cultivation essence giant hand and sneered. It's not up to you. Yemo sneered and released his power. His domain expanded, and before Heng Qi's cultivation essence giant hand reached Yemo, it crippled. Immediately, Huang Qi felt he was bound completely. Perfect domain, Huang Qi said in shock, wanting to break free. He did break free, but because of his underestimation, he doesn't have the chance to release his magic artifact. One purple ray flashed, and Huang Qi was split in half. An essence spirit was then crushed by Yemo's cultivation essence giant hand. One move, and Huang Qi was dead. No matter how Huang Qi underestimated Yemo, he was a truth realization state middle stage. Lan Qirui's face looked bad, and Miao Huizhen was so shocked she couldn't speak. Lan Qirui immediately realized Yemo was definitely a truth realization state cultivator, a very powerful one. He definitely hid his power last time. With Yemo's lethal strike, Lan Qirui estimated that even he was no match for Yemo. Such a powerful truth realization state cultivator, and a high-level Pil King, Lan Qirui didn't want to be enemies with him. He smiled awkwardly and saluted with his fists. Since Pil King Yi doesn't want to come to my shabby island, then I'll be leaving first. Then he was about to leave. But Yemo said calmly, Island Lord Lan is so free, coming and going as you please. Yemo took Huang Qi's storage ring and then flicked Zi Su as he looked calmly at Lan Qirui. Yemo took Huang Qi's storage ring and then flicked Zi Su as he looked calmly at Lan Qirui. Lan Qirui's face changed. Although he knew that he was no match for Yemo, but Yemo's words were too abusive. He was a truth realization state level 9 cultivator, and he wasn't even allowed to go. Miao Huizhen finally woke up from her shock. The age she was at was far older than Lan Qirui and Yemo. She wasn't an ancient cultivator, but she had been through countless times. She had never seen a young and dominant cultivator like Yemo. A truth realization state level 9 wasn't even allowed to go in front of him. Even if some cultivator dared to say this, he would be extremely powerful. How many could be young like Yemo? At the same time, she also didn't understand. She fought with Yemo. He was only cauldron filling state level 2 before, so how did he reach truth realization state in such a short time that she can't even see his power level? Pil King Yi, do you want to forcefully keep me here? Lan Qirui said and exploded his power. Yemo sneered, his force was powerful but his domain was weak. In other words, he was a tiger made of paper. Yemo was certain that if Yin Su and Lan Qirui fought, Lan Qirui would be killed soon if he doesn't run. "You're right, I'm going to keep you. What are you going to do?" Yemo didn't like trouble, but for those who messed with him, he wouldn't mind having some trouble. "You!" Lan Qirui's face was red. He said those words and released his power to let Yemo know he was a truth realization state level 9 cultivator, and let Yemo have some concerns. Then, he would give something to compensate him, and so he can leave. But Yemo wasn't affected by his chi at all and still didn't show any respect. Lan Qirui waved his hand and a golden light circulated around his body before landing in his hands. Yemo saw it was a pair of phoenix rings. They were entwined and an extreme-grade cultivation artifact. Ringed shadows flew around Lan Qirui, and even without attacking, the spinning rhythm and the cultivation essence waves made even Miao Huizhen dizzy. Seeing this, she felt very lucky that she was even able to escape for that long from Lan Qirui. The ring hadn't attacked, but it already made buzzing sounds, and that force made people feel that if you were encompassed inside you would be obliterated. Lan Qirui didn't attack and just looked coldly at Yemo, meaning that if you want to fight, I'm not scared of you. Yemo smiled. He had even fought Sa Anshan and Shirtie. This ordinary truth realization state level 9 really didn't concern him at all. Yemo hacked out with Zisu, Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. Only this move could make Yemo feel free. Ever since going into the void, Yemo hadn't been able to fight freely. Lan Qirui saw this and released the rings with full power. The golden rings immediately expanded into two nearly 300-meter-long golden rings. At the same time, the countless smaller golden rings formed a golden ring pillar wanting to attack Yemo from inside the golden circle. There was an extreme scorching sensation, and the two 300-meter-long rings had a powerful suction force. Yemo sneered and released his power again. With the surge of his cultivation essence, the space around him was about to freeze. Lan Qirui felt his dual ring start to slow down, and the two main rings shrink. His face changed greatly. There had been all too many truth realization state cultivators on Luoyu continent since the ancient times, but which of them could perfect his domain? But now he believed it, Yemo truly perfected his domain. His dual rings had been suppressed, and if he can't break free of Yemo's domain quickly, they would be completely subjugated. If his magic artifact was subjugated, then he would be in danger. Lan Qirui started burning his essence blood without hesitation. When the dual rings loosened, he breathed easy and was about to retreat. Rumble. Before he retreated, Zisu hacked onto the dual rings. The unfinished ring pillar instantly crippled, splashing golden light everywhere. The purple ray wasn't done yet, it also sliced across Lan Qirui's chest. Splurge. Lan Qirui's cultivation artifact armor was hacked open, bringing a stream of blood flying out in the air. At the same time, Lan Qirui's cultivation essence backlashed on him, and he spat blood flying out a few hundred meters. Midway, he ate a pill and quickly yelled, "Pill King Yi, I admit defeat, please forgive me for my past offense." Yemo didn't keep hunting Lan Qirui. He knew that Lan Qirui wasn't heavily injured. If he used his full power, he could kill Lan Qirui, but it would be troublesome. The main thing was that the dual rings were strange, and Yemo felt Lan Qirui didn't use its full power, not even half. He didn't know if it was that Lan Qirui couldn't control it or he hid his power. Regardless, if Lan Qirui was willing to pay compensation, then he wouldn't mind letting him go. His main goal now wasn't to fight this island lord but get back to Mou City. Seeing Yemo stopping, Lan Qirui breathed easy. He didn't think of running away from Yemo. If he could, then Yemo wouldn't be so casual. He was cursing in his heart, Yemo, you top-level truth realization state cultivator, why would you be so bored to pretend to be a low-level cultivator? Even if he wanted Yemo to concoct pills for him, he would connect with him and show his genuine attitude. Miao Huizhen looked at Yemo in shock, rejoicing that she didn't try to run away. She didn't expect Yemo to be this powerful. She knew how powerful Lan Qirui was, and if it wasn't that she had a few ancient escape techniques, she would have died many times already. Yet a truth realization state level 9 like this was injured in moments to EMO, and he admitted defeat. Cultivators had pride and admitting defeat wasn't easy. Lan Qirei hesitated for a long while before taking out a jade box to EMO. Pill King Yi, you're a level 9 Pill King. I happen to have a level 9 spirit herb marrow essence mushroom. Now it's yours, Pill King Yi. Hearing this, Yemo's face sunk. It was rather precious in the Heartless Sea. Any spirit herb that was level 9 was precious, but Yemo had a whole pile of them in the Golden Page world. Seeing this, Lan Qirei immediately knew things wasn't good. Suddenly, Yemo's power rose drastically. Lan Qirei was shook. This power was much more dominant than before. Did Yemo not even use his full power? Thinking about this, Lan Qirei didn't dare to hesitate at all and took out a faint blue jade box. I have something here that Pill King Yi might be interested in. Yemo took the jade box and opened it. He immediately found a rare flame inside. It was Earth Flame, the 16th ranked in the cultivation realm Dragon Heart Flame. It was rank 16th, but it was very rare as it was from a dragon core. For dragon-related spirit beasts, it was better than Heaven Flame. Yemo took the jade box and opened it. He immediately found a rare flame inside. It was Earth Flame, the 16th ranked in the cultivation realm Dragon Heart Flame. It was rank 16th, but it was very rare as it was from a dragon core. For dragon-related spirit beasts, it was better than Heaven Flame. Yemo was very happy seeing the Dragon Heart Flame. Even if he didn't need it, there would be people around him who would need it. Seeing Yemo take it, Lan Qirei finally breathed easy and ached in his heart. This was a very hard to get rare flame, and now he lost it for no reason. Lan Qirei didn't want to stay here for a minute, so he smiled awkwardly and saluted with his fists. Pill King Yi, in that case, I won't stay here anymore. Yemo immediately nodded and just wanted to agree when Miao Huizhen suddenly said, Wait. Lan Qirei didn't think much of Miao Huizhen, but he had to look at Yemo. Yemo looked at Miao Huizhen in confusion. She said to Yemo, The reason he had that Huangqi wanted to kill me was because I found a big secret and they wanted to seal my mouth. Lan Qirei's face changed drastically, but he quickly said, It's no secret, just a few sealed spirit ranges were found under the Lost Soul ruins. Yemo heard this and lost interest. He still had tens of extreme-grade spirit ranges in his Golden Page world. If it was some other time, he might be willing to spend some time to get it, but not now. Miao Huizhen sneered. It's definitely not a few spirit ranges. It's a spirit nourishing well with those few spirit ranges there just to preserve it. Hearing this, Yemo's heart shook. How could he not know what a spirit nourishing well was? The hardest thing to improve for a cultivator was spirit sense. Spirit sense usually improves slower than your cultivation level. Spirit sense was even more important to cultivators than cultivation essence, so all cultivators would try to improve their spirit sense. There were very few spirit items that could improve one's spirit sense power. Even the spirit recovery pill was just to repair the spirit sense, not improve it. But the spirit nourishing well was something that could increase spirit sense, and it was very rare. If you drank from this well or cultivated next to it, your spirit sense would grow faster than ordinary cultivators, even with the spirit sense cultivation method. What shook Yemo was that he knew from thing there were two types of spirit nourishing wells. One was natural, formed by extreme grade spirit items or spirit chi. Once it was used up, it would completely disappear. Another was formed by the spirit refining pearl, and the value of it was immeasurable. Spirit refining pearls were formed after billions of years with a unique essence spirit chi in the world. Once it had formed, the pearl would form a spirit nourishing well around it with adequate spirit supply. Usually, if someone found a spirit refining pearl, he wouldn't take it away. Instead, he would provide spirit chi to it so it could form the spirit nourishing well. Yemo also saw from thing that once in the immortal realm, the spirit refining pearl could evolve to form higher level spirit nourishing wells. Yemo hadn't seen it, but that evolution was formed through countless years, much longer than the lifespan of a cultivator. Yemo suppressed his urge for the spirit-refining pearl and looked at Lan Qirui calmly. I was genuine to Island Lord Lan, but you don't seem to be genuine to me. Hearing about the spirit-nourishing well, Lan Qirui was also shook. He really didn't know there was that. But hearing Yemo's words, he cursed in his heart, you weren't genuine to me at all. However, he didn't dare to say that and could only say, I really don't know, a few friends and me saw the sealed spirit ranges. We weren't sure if there was a spirit-nourishing well. If Brother Yi is interested, we can go look at it together. Yemo nodded. Since Brother Lan invited me, I'll come with you. After all, more people, more power. Miao Huizhen quickly said. I found the spirit-nourishing well. I have been in the Lost Soul ruins for countless years and I know every corner of it. A long time ago, I felt Lost Soul ruins was extraordinary, but when I left it I was heavily injured. Now that I have recovered a little, I came back here to find the spirit-nourishing well, but as soon as I found the approximate location these people found it too. Miao Huizhen was very unhappy. If she didn't see Yemo today, she might have been annihilated. So they were going to annihilate you? Yemo looked coldly at Lan Qirui and asked. Since Brother Yi wants to go, then let's hurry. Lan Qirui was more desperate than Yemo. If he came to annihilate this woman and the spirit-nourishing well was taken by someone else first, then that would be a tragedy. Then let's go. Yemo was also worried that the spirit-refining pearl would fall into someone else's hands. Seeing the black flying ship Yemo released, Lan Qirui's eyelids fluttered. Luckily he didn't plan to run, he was certain this flying ship was beyond an extreme-grade cultivation artifact. Even though it wasn't a half-immortal artifact yet, it wasn't far from it. Miao Huizhen immediately came up to thank Yemo. Yemo nodded and didn't say much. He didn't know her that well, but he knew she was a cruel woman. They flew for half a day and their spirit sense could scan to Lost Soul ruins. Yemo was familiar with the path here, and could find a way back to Mou City even without a compass. Compared to before, the Lost Soul ruins was more shabby. It was in complete ruins instead of the vague outline of the city he saw before. Once here, Yemo's spirit sense scanned to the other three people. Yemo was speechless, he knew all three again. It was Ting Yi's father Ting Xiong, Juin Island Lord Jiafeng, and another truth realization state level 7 he saw at the Dragon Ting Palace. The three stood at a plain gray stone block as though waiting for Lan Qirui and Huangqi to come back. Seeing this tablet, Yemo knew there was a level 9 stealth formation that was broken in not long ago. With the dense spirit chi emitting out, Yemo could guess there were a few extreme-grade spirit ranges. Island Lord Lan, you actually found Yemo. Ting Xiong and the other truth realization state level 7 saw Yemo and also looked very happy. They didn't know why Lan Qirui would bring Yemo back, but since he appeared they weren't going to let Lan Qirui keep Yemo to himself. How could Lan Qirui not know what they meant? There was a sneer on his mouth, but he didn't speak. Yemo just nodded, saluted with his fists to Jiafeng, ignoring Ting Xiong and the truth realization state level 7. Island Lord Jia, long time no see. Yemo just nodded, saluted with his fists to Jiafeng, ignoring Ting Xiong and the truth realization state level 7. Island Lord Jia, long time no see. Haha. Jiafeng laughed and came up, patting Yemo on the shoulder. Brother Yemo, long time no see. Thanks for the spirit herb you left last time, allowing my daughter to have a new life. Now that I finally see you again, if you're free you must come to my island. Yemo knew Jiafeng wanted to help him. He knew last time that Ting Xiong and them wanted to forcefully take him away. He probably thought he was forced over here by Lan Qirui and thus he invited him over to his island as a guest. He's implying that Yemo is my guest. If anyone wants to harm him, then he's looking for trouble with me. Seeing Yemo only nod to them, Ting Xiong and the truth realization state level 7 were very annoyed. A mere cauldron filling state level 2 dared to be like this, but remember Yemo was a level 7 pill king, they forced down their anger. A level 7 pill king was a money-making tree. Just imagine what owning a level 7 pill king in the Heartless Sea meant. Countless high-level beast cultivator and cultivators would come asking for pills and all sorts of good resources would be provided to him. Seeing that Jiefeng wants to have a peace, Ting Xiong was immediately unhappy. Jiefeng was powerful but not powerful enough to take on them three. Ting Xiong immediately signaled to Lan Qirui wanting to join up against Jiefeng, but Lan Qirui kept his head low and didn't even look over nor use his spirit sense. Seeing this, both Ting Xiong and Lan Qirui were shocked. Jiefeng thought that after saying that, Ting Xiong and them would join up against him. Yemo saved his daughter. Regardless if he could save Yemo this time, he would do his best. If he really can't, then he would feel guilty, as he tried his best. But he didn't expect Lan Qirui to back out. Jiefeng immediately realized that Lan Qirui definitely Yemo was a pill king and wanted Yemo to work for him long time. He didn't want to share Yemo with Ting Xiong and Gongzhe. But if Lan Qirui had such thoughts, why bring Yemo over? Could he beat Ting Xiong? That was impossible. There were only 16 Truth Realization State cultivators in this area of the Truth Realization State, and everyone knew each other. Lan Qirui was definitely no match for Ting Xiong. Even Gongzhe stopped his rage. Even though he wasn't afraid of Lan Qirui, he was the weakest here. He didn't believe Ting Xiong would give up Yemo easily. As long as Ting Xiong didn't give up on Yemo, he would have a way to split some benefits. Yemo just smiled and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Island Lord Jie, but Yemo is busy and I'm about to go back. I just heard that Island Lord Lan say he found a few extreme grade spirit ranges here, so I came to earn something wealth and get a few spirit ranges to use. Hearing this, Ting Xiong and Gongzhe realized that Yemo and Lan Qirui reached an agreement. He would only help Lan Qirui, and because Lan Qirui was backing him up, Yemo dared to speak like this. Jiefeng was bewildered. With him helping, it was strange that Yemo still rejected his offer to help. Even though Lan Qirui was a Truth Realization State level 9, what right did he have to take all the spirit ranges here? But concerning Yemo, he didn't talk. Extreme grade spirit ranges were valuable, but if he could use it to not owe Yemo anymore, he would be willing to. Ting Xiong knew it was Lan Qirui behind this, but he still sneered to Yemo. Little brother Yi, you're so bold. Do you think you can certainly beat Island Lord Jie, Island Lord Gong and me? Then what do you want? Yemo asked. We found it first. Since you came last, then you can only wait till we've split it. Ting Xiang said this, expecting Lan Qirui to immediately say something. Everyone looked at Lan Qirui, wanting to know if he would say something after having his rights to a share taken. But he stood up and said, I have no objections to Pill King Ye's words. Everyone sneered. It was indeed so. Gongzhe glanced at Ting Xiong and immediately knew that he was completely furious. Gongzhe stood out and said, Island Lord Lan doesn't mind, but I do. Yemo, you came last, but you want a few spirit ranges. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because someone is supporting you? No matter how powerful your support is, I, Gongzhe, will take back the share that belongs to me. What do you think, Island Lord Jie? Jiefeng felt something was wrong. Unless Lan Qirui was crazy or he didn't want to live, he would dare to challenge all of them for a few spirit ranges. Thinking about this, he said loudly, if these 3 or 4 spirit ranges really belongs to Yemo, then I don't mind. I owe brother you one. Gongzhe was shook. He didn't expect Jiefeng would be willing to give up extreme grade spirit range to Lan Qirui. But he wasn't an idiot, and also realized something was wrong. Yemo sneered. Island Lord Gong's words are like farts. How come I heard that these few spirit ranges are first found by my friend Miao Huijin? Now it becomes you found it first. Is your face thicker than my magic artifact? Everyone else dazed. Miao Huijin was a Truth Realization State level 4, who would take her seriously. Gongzhe's face burst red, but this time he didn't waste time talking with Yemo. He looked coldly at Lan Qirui and said, Island Lord Lan, do you think you can ridicule me however you like just because you're a little stronger than me? I'm Truth Realization State level 7, but I don't fear Island Lord Lan. Lan Qirui sneered. Gongzhe, you want to start trouble, I'm not scared of you too. Which ear did you hear me insulting you? Point out someone who heard me insulting you. Am I looking for trouble or are you? Very well, very well. After being insulted by a cauldron filling state level 2 and Lan Qirui, Gongzhi couldn't hold his fury anymore and a blue magic artifact appeared on his hand. He released it with full power immediately. At the same time, his blue magic artifact turned into a huge club that was covered in lightning that loomed over the nearby 100 meters. Yemo happened to be under it. Gongzhi used his full power immediately as he knew Lan Qirui would stop him. Another lightning element magic artifact and a half-extreme grade cultivation artifact. Yemo sneered. Jiefeng was shook. Gongzhi was only truth realization state level 7, so he didn't consider him a threat, but this person had such a powerful magic artifact. The lightning club emitted more than 10 baby arm-sized lightning arcs down. Its power was shocking. Even space itself seemed to be getting unstable. Lan Qirui's face changed. He thought he would be able to beat Gongzhi without trouble, but with this move, Gongzhi showed power not far from his. Plus, lightning arcs were one of the most powerful offensive means. This meant that Gongzhi was on par with him. Even if he wanted to beat Gongzhi, it wouldn't be a quick fight. He might even need to use secret techniques. Everyone looked at Lan Qirui. They believed that Yemo wouldn't be able to live under such terrifying lightning arc attacks. Seeing Lan Qirui's face changed, they realized that Lan Qirui's greed really took over his reason. But both Jiefeng and Tingxiong didn't move. They knew that Lan Qirui would save Yemo. But the next moment their face changed greatly. Lan Qirui didn't move at all. Jiefeng regretted. No matter what, Yemo was dead for sure now. He wouldn't even be able to save him in time. Gongzhi saw that Yemo didn't want to dodge at all and Lan Qirui didn't move either and was very shook. He didn't want to kill Yemo but only wanted to teach Yemo a lesson to warn Lan Qirui. Gongzhi saw that Yemo didn't want to dodge at all and Lan Qirui didn't move either and was very shook. He didn't want to kill Yemo but only wanted to teach Yemo a lesson to warn Lan Qirui. As long as Yemo had the will to dodge he could save him, but Yemo didn't even want to move. He didn't even flinch. Yemo didn't move because although these lightning arcs would be enough to kill truth realization state primary stage cultivators, they were just like a tickle to him. He was God state body refinement now, and even if he wasn't, devouring lightning source was all too easy for him. These lightning arcs would at most break his clothes. Thud thud, the lightning arcs fell on Yemo's body and made eerie low thuds. There wasn't the sound of crisp lightning strikes that there was supposed to be. Everyone thought that after that blast, Yemo would be turned to dust. But after that vibrant wave of lightning arcs, everyone's was dazed. Yemo patted the dust off his shirt and seemed very at ease. Not even his clothes were creased nor a hair out of place. The scene was dead silent. Everyone saw the power of the lightning arcs. No one believed they would be able to dodge it without even creasing their shirt. But Yemo did this without a magic artifact or taking any action. He just stood there. Lan Qirui's eyes spasmed. He felt he underestimated Yemo. Yemo was more powerful than he had imagined. Tingxiong's heart sunk. He realized who Yemo's support was. Yemo was pretending to be weak this whole time. With this power, not even Jiefeng would be a match for him. He had the power to take a few spirit ranges. He finally realized why Lan Qirui kept his head low coming here. He didn't force Yemo to come over, Yemo forced Lan Qirui to lead the way. Jiefeng took a cold breath in. He also felt concerned about the lightning arcs, but Yemo was able to take it without moving. Not even truth realization state peak stage cultivators could do this. He felt the same as Tingxiong. Yemo had hid his power. Thinking that he didn't force Yemo before, he rejoiced his decision. If he forced Yemo and angered Yemo, then not only would he not be able to make such a friend but he would lose his 2 daughters also. The scene was dead silent as what Yemo did wasn't something truth realization state cultivators could do. This was on the level of a hollow immortal. Gongzhi was also shook, but the instant he reacted his back was covered in sweat. Before he could retreat, Yemo sneered. You want to retreat after blasting me with lightning? Keep dreaming. Yemo waved his hand and a lightning sword was released. It was the size of a grown man's arm, and it was black like ink. With a rumble, the lightning sword was about to land on Gongzhi. The danger of being killed came. Gongzhi in his worry didn't even take back his mace to block this strike. He just wanted to dodge the lightning sword. But the next moment, he sweat even more. He felt the space around him turn solid and he could barely move. In that instant, he could only barely move his head aside. With a rumble, the black lightning sword slashed into Gongzhi's shoulder. Gongzhi was smashed and etched into solid ground, his entire arm now missing. After spitting blood, Gongzhi crawled up and quickly took back his magic artifact. Pil King Yi, I exit the spirit range Phi. Before Yemo replied, he roared. Palace Lord Tang, Island Lord Lan, you can't just watch me die. We 5 islands. Gongzhi knew from what Yemo just showed that he was hugely lucky he wasn't instantly killed. Plus, that was only one lightning sword before. If Yemo used a few more or 10 more, what would he do then? Lan Qirui took a cold breath in. He had other cards, but so did Yemo. This lightning sword was so powerful just with one. Who was certain that Yemo could only use one? If Yemo used more than 10 and trapped him, wouldn't he be in the same situation as Gongzhi? Lan Qirui and Ting Xiong instantly realized the situation, and before Yemo could attack again, the two stood out and saluted with their fists. Pil King Yi, since Island Lord Gong admitted his wrongs already, please have mercy. Yemo did intend to kill Gongzhi to assert dominance, but he had some concerns. He didn't know the relationship between Jie Feng and Ting Xiong in them. He wasn't afraid of Ting Xiong and Lan Qirui, but if the two joined forces, he wouldn't have a lot of upper hand. If Jie Feng was involved, then his main purpose would be affected. He came here not to kill but for the spirit refining pearl. Even if he didn't kill Gongzhi, he already asserted his dominance, so he nodded. Since you two asked, I'll show mercy to this man. If he dares to offend me again, I will crush him. Gongzhi's face was pale like snow, and now that Yemo finally let him go, he was overjoyed. Seeing this, the two breathed easy. They weren't confident in taking on Yemo together. Plus, they hadn't been on good terms with Jie Feng and had long wanted to annihilate Yinzhu Island. If Gongzhi was dead, they would have one less ally. If this balance was broken, it wasn't good. Even though he knew Lan Qirui was forced over by Yemo, Ting Xiong still asked, Island Lord Lan, where did Huang Qi go? Before Lan Qirui could reply, Yemo said coldly, I killed him. Huang Qi had been Lan Qirui's follower, and now that Yemo said he killed him in front of Lan Qirui didn't show any expression. Ting Xiong and Gongzhi all felt fear. They had even dared to try and capture Yemo for pill concoction. Gongzhi hid on the side, not even daring to overtly eat pills. He was regretful to the extreme. Jie Feng and Ting Xiong, the two old foxes, must have seen something and thus didn't make a move. But he didn't think carefully, and just jumped straight in. He was very lucky to even be alive. Jie Feng walked up and saluted with his fists to Yemo. I really didn't expect Brother Yi to be this powerful, and I even dared to give you a few pointers. Yemo said. I admire Island Lord Jia's character. I wish to be friends. Island Lord Jia is older than me. If you think we're friends, just call me Yemo, haha, then I won't be too polite. It's my luck to know a friend like Brother Yi. Jie Feng laughed. Seeing Jie Feng connect with Yemo, Ting Xiong and Lan Qirui's face didn't look good. Ting Xiong quickly said, Pil King Yi, there's 4 spirit range, what do you think? Seeing Jie Feng connect with Yemo, Ting Xiong and Lan Qirui's face didn't look good. Ting Xiong quickly said, Pil King Yi, there's 4 spirit range, what do you think? He only thought of it as a joke when Yemo said he wanted all of it, but now he didn't think so. If Yemo really wanted all of it, and he had Jie Feng to help him, there was nothing he could do. Yemo didn't care about these spirit ranges. If it was before he went into the void fissure, he definitely would take all of it, but now, he was too wealthy. The reason he said he would take all of it was to assert his dominance, and take authority for dividing up the spirit nourishing well. Yemo wasn't afraid of these few people, but in the cultivation realm, it was taboo to take everything for yourself. Now that he got what he wanted, as Ting Xiong was asking him how to divide things, Yemo wasn't going to stay dominant. If news of the spirit refining pearl got out, it wouldn't be 1 or 2 truth realization states coming. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't annihilate all truth realization state cultivators. Power was everything in the cultivation realm, but you can't draw too much hate. Throughout history, no matter how powerful the master, if he had too many foes, he didn't end up well. Yemo laughed. How do I dare to divide the things here? The reason I said that was because I didn't like how some people were being so cocky. Yemo continued. I feel like Palace Lord Teng has a lot of knowledge. His decision would be more considerate than mine. Everyone dazed. What was Yemo doing? Even Ting Xiong felt strange. But the following words Yemo said made Ting Xiong completely understand. Yemo laughed. Island Lord Gong is very generous and doesn't want a share of this, allowing everyone to have more. But I agree to Palace Lord Ting a lot. Only the first person here has the right to split the things here. I came later than all of you. I don't have the right to divide things. Palace Lord Ting said he came here first, then I believe it's better for him to divide things. Hearing this, everyone understood what was going on and cursed Yemo for being shameless. Yemo was not only going to take the good things and still wanted to stand on moral high grounds. He really was someone that didn't want to lose out on anything. Only Jiefeng knew Yemo wasn't such person. How could Ting Xiong not know what Yemo meant? But if he didn't want to fight with Yemo, he would have to speak the truth. He coughed and said in embarrassment, I'm not the first one here either. Pil King Ye's friend came here first. In that case, let your friend divide things up. Yemo clapped. Oh, so Sister Miao came first? I almost made a big mistake. Since you all don't have any opinions, then Sister Miao, please help us divide things. How could Miao Huijin not know what Yemo meant? Although she knew Yemo came for the spirit nourishing well, she wasn't certain if Yemo didn't want the extreme grade spirit ranges at all. So she immediately said, Pil King Yi saved my life. I believe that no matter what is found here, Pil King Yi gets the first share and then we can split the rest evenly. How about it? With this, everyone agreed. Yemo was the strongest here and wanted to take all 4 to begin with. Gongzhi objected and was easily killed. Who dared to say no? It seems Yemo was being reasonable everywhere, but this made Ting Xiong very annoyed. He had no choice but to find something to talk. Pil King Yi, I wonder how my son Ting Yi is? I don't know. Yemo's answer almost made him spit blood, but there was nothing he could do about Yemo. Jiefeng felt good and said, In that case, let's open all the spirit ranges here first. Okay. Lan Qire agreed. The huge rock was easily opened, revealing 4 spirit range, but as soon as they showed, a huge white jade pond beneath it was also revealed. It had clearly been there since antiquity, and it was filled more than half with a milky white liquid. Spirit nourishing pond. People called out at the same time. A faint aroma came, and even Lan Qire couldn't help calling out. The pond was at almost 700 square meter in size. This was invaluable. Even Ting Yi and Gongzhi realized that Yemo probably already knew there was the spirit nourishing well here. They all looked at Yemo. The 4 extreme grade spirit range were already extremely precious things, but it was really nothing to truth realization state level 9 cultivators compared to spirit nourishing well. This was something useful to truth realization state peak stage cultivators. No one wanted to give up on this. Yemo saw this and saluted with his fists. I didn't expect there to be spirit nourishing well here. Let me confirm if it's real. Then Yemo jumped into the white jade pond. Everyone saw this and the corner of their eyes spasmed. This was damaging the well. One only needed to scoop a drop with his finger. But no one questioned Yemo for doing this. Yemo wasn't trying to damage the well, he was checking where the spirit refining pearl was. He could walk around the pond and test it, but then people would be suspicious. Thus, he jumped into the pond and emitted his powerful domain. He soon noticed something different. The density of the well was the greatest the furthest away from him. Yemo frowned. This uneven distribution of density would soon be noticed if they came down. Thinking about this, Yemo stood above the pond and went to the other side before saying, I think I only want one spirit range, and as for this spirit nourishing well, I'll only take a quarter. You guys can split the rest. Then, Yemo set up a few restrictions and separated the 1/4 that he said was his, and then forcefully used his domain to stir up the remaining 3/4, making their density even. Then, he landed on his 1/4 and took an extreme grade spirit range. Yemo did things very naturally, and although seeming a little dominant, no one questioned him. Lanchire even felt lucky that Yemo only wanted a quarter, not half. Seeing this, Jiafeng quickly went down and took a quarter from the remaining pond and took a spirit range. I've taken mine. Tingxiong was the next to go. He took a spirit range and took a third of the remaining liquid. It was Lan Qirui and Miao Huizhen left. Lan Qirui looked at Miao Huizhen. We'll split evenly what's left, how about it? Okay. Miao Huizhen agreed without hesitation. Lan Qirui agreed to split evenly not because of her but because of Yemo. Okay. Miao Huizhen agreed without hesitation. Lan Qirui agreed to split evenly not because of her but because of Yemo. Soon, the 4 spirit ranges and the spirit nourishing well was divided up. Gongzhi looked at this in jealousy and fury but didn't dare to say a thing. The reason he was able to stay alive was partly due to Yemo not killing him but also due to Tingxiong and Lan Qirui helping him. Gongzhi knew how useful the spirit nourishing well was to him. His 5 lightning seal was more powerful the more powerful his spirit sense was, and yet he didn't get any of the well. How could he not be furious? Other than Yemo, everyone took out their magic artifact planning to take the well away, but Yemo didn't do this. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he couldn't. He hasn't found the spirit refining pearl yet. Yemo was certain it was in his area, but before he found it, he wasn't going to take the well away. But in his area, no one could scan their spirit sense in anymore. What shook everyone was that it was Miao Huizhen who took her portion first. She flew up and saluted with his fists. Miao Huizhen, thank Pil King Yi for helping, but I still have some business now, so I'll be leaving. If I have time, I will come up to thank Pil King Yi personally. Yemo nodded and didn't say anything. He didn't expect her to help in the future, but she better not expect him to do anything for her. She was able to take her portion so quickly clearly because she has a powerful magic artifact. Miao Huizhen immediately let out her magic artifact. She knew her predicament well. She was using Yemo's relationship with her. If everyone knew that they weren't as close as they thought, she would be in danger. In less than half a minute, she was out of everyone's spirit sense range. Gongzhi saw this and really wanted to chase up, but he looked at Yemo and resisted his urge. He didn't want to get killed. Little did Gongzhi know that even if he fought with Miao Huizhen and PW, Yemo wasn't going to kill him for that. At most, he would just protect Miao Huizhen. Few seconds later, Jiafeng took his portion and laughed, but then his face changed immediately and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, something happened at home, I need to go first. If you have the time, please come to my island, goodbye. Then, Jiafeng disappeared into the horizon in a bolt of yellow light. Tingxiong and Lan Qirui also took their portion. Although they didn't know why Yemo didn't take his and was wasting time here, but they didn't want to ask. They saluted with their fists and left. Gongzhi took this opportunity and left with them. Gongzhi was hoping the two would share some with him when Tingxiong suddenly said, There's some minor problem at my palace, I need to go, goodbye you two. Then, he disappeared before anyone could say anything. Lan Qirui looked at Gongzhi and said, Island Lord Gong, my friend Huangqi died today, I feel sad. We can meet again another time. Then, Lan Qirui also disappeared. Gongzhi's heart was itching with anger. Huangqi had been dead for that long and this Lan didn't seem sad, but now he had to be sad. But there was nothing he could do. It was already good that they didn't try to attack him. It was impossible to expect them to share some with him. Gongzhi looked at the direction Miao Huizhen left and chased up. He didn't want to challenge Yemo, but he could certainly beat that truth realization state level 4. Yemo was desperate. The spirit refining pearl seemed to have hid itself. The spirit nourishing well was precious, but it would be used up one day. If he had the spirit refining pearl, it would be a different story. Yemo searched the bottom of the pond more than 10 times, but still didn't find the spirit refining pearl. This place was clearly set up with the pearl. How could it be like this? Yemo scanned his spirit sense into other areas and still didn't find anything. Yemo was very disappointed and just forged a huge jade well in the golden page world and put all the liquid inside. There was still nothing at the bottom. Was he really wrong? There was no spirit refining pearl? Just when Yemo was confused, 2 rays of lights flashed across the sky of the Lost Soul ruins. But then they turned back and landed next to White Jade Pond. "It's you?" one of them blurted out. Seeing this bearded cultivator who recognized him, Yemo sneered. There was the path to heaven that this guy didn't take, and he had to choose the path to hell. When he was sending off Meng Qi, there was this guy hunting Bien Fengta. He was Disaster Transformation State Level 1 at the time, but now he was Disaster Transformation State Level 2. The other cultivator had loose hair and a sharp mouth. Clearly he was a beast cultivator. But he was much more powerful than the bearded cultivator. He was Disaster Transformation State Level 4. "You know this person?" the Disaster Transformation State Level 4 beast cultivator asked. The bearded cultivator laughed. "This guy is only body condensation state. He hid his power. He's an insect that escaped from me. But I encountered him today. He's really unlucky. He was beaten away by Yemo and Bienfengta before, but now he shamelessly claimed Yemo ran away." The beast cultivator just looked at the White Jade Pond and said, "I suspect there was spirit nourishing well here. It has a strange smell." Then he wiped his finger on the pond and put it into his mouth. Moments later, his face changed greatly. "It's spirit nourishing well indeed." The next moment, his eyes stared deadly at Yemo. The bearded cultivator couldn't lose his mouth. He was overjoyed and yelled at Yemo. "Speak, did you take the things here?" Before he finished, Yemo already hacked out with Zisu. He didn't need to use Zisu against 2 Disaster Transformation State, but he felt annoyed not finding the spirit refining pearl, and this bearded guy dared to waste his time. Thud. Purple ray flashed, and blood splashed in the air. When the blood was gone, the bearded cultivator was gone. The sturdy rock bed showed a ravine that was 100 meters deep, nothing else. Yemo's strike hacked this Disaster Transformation State Level 2 to nothing. His armor, storage ring, all was gone. Seeing this, the sharp-mouthed beast cultivator was dazed, and moments later he reacted quickly, retreating and saying to Yemo, "Wan Bei didn't know Qian Bei was here. Sorry for offending you, I will leave now." How could Yemo let him go? A lightning sword flew out. The Disaster Transformation State Level 4 saw this and quickly broke a rune, saying, "You can't kill me, I'm from the Peng Island." Yemo would even dare to fight So Anshan. What was Peng Island to him? Crack! That Disaster Transformation State Level 4 beast cultivator retreated a few hundred meters away and had his soul destroyed by Yemo's lightning arc. His rune wasn't able to activate at all under Yemo's powerful domain. Crack! That Disaster Transformation State Level 4 beast cultivator retreated a few hundred meters away and had his soul destroyed by Yemo's lightning arc. His rune wasn't able to activate at all under Yemo's powerful domain. At the same time this beast cultivator was killed, on a huge island in the Heartless Sea, a dominating force rose into the sky. A coarse woman's voice sounded. "You're asking to die." Then, it dashed out from the island and instantly disappeared. Yemo felt a little more comfortable after killing the 2 insects, but soon he noticed something was wrong. The place he hacked open was 100 meters deep, but they were all blue sturdy rocks. Clearly, something was wrong. Yemo scanned his spirit sense inside, and moments later, he found drops of blue water stuck to the crevice. "Spirit nourishing well," Yemo called out in surprise and joy. This was the real spirit nourishing well. What they took was just the liquid gathered after countless years. Yemo's surprise and joy was no lesser than when he first saw the bitter bamboo. The cultivator who had the spirit refining pearl was very smart, and didn't put the pearl in the jade pond. Without hesitation, Yemo hacked out, but he controlled his sword chi to not harm the spirit refining pearl. The place was hacked open again, and a blue pearl sat peacefully embedded in the wall. A drop of colorless liquid just dripped down. Spirit refining pearl. Yemo couldn't control his joy anymore and took that pearl into a jade box without hesitation and put it in his golden page world. The colorless liquid was the real spirit nourishing well liquid. The liquid filtered by the blue rock would be much less effective. After getting this, Yemo didn't want to stop at all. He released his black flying ship and disappeared from the Lost Soul ruins. Not long after Yemo left, another dashing light appeared. It was extremely fast. It was a skinny female cultivator wearing a pink dress. She didn't have any jewelries on her, but her eyes had this superiority that no one could compare. She landed next to the charred body and said hatefully, "A lighting element cultivator, how dare you kill me, son? I will eat you alive!" Then she howled again. Then, her eyes landed on the empty white jade pond and her eyes became furious. "So my son found the spirit nourishing well first, and this person killed my son. Very well, I, Yu Zizhen, will annihilate you all." The next moment, she jumped inside the well and sniffed everywhere. After half a minute, she got up abruptly and said, "It's Shuyin Island Jia Fong and Dragon Ting Palace Ting Xiong and Kui Tian Island Lan killing my son together. There's another nasty woman that I can't identify." Yemo had been cultivating under the bitter bamboo and his chi was one with nature. Although he left last and was the true culprit, Yu Zizhen didn't recognize her instead. Yemo didn't know that he killed the beast cultivator, but the consequence would be taken by the other few people. Yemo left this region of the sea and headed towards the South Peace State. Gongzhi was very annoyed. Although he was heavily injured by Yemo, he recovered by 70%, other his arm being unable to regenerate. He believed that if he chased up to that female cultivator, he would be able to rob the spirit nourishing well from her. But he had been chasing for 2 hours and there was no sign of her. He was helpless, and just when he wanted to return to his island, his spirit sense scanned a pink, dashing light. He rejoiced and immediately chased up. Miao Huijin also wore pink, and thus he thought it was her. What Gongzhi didn't expect was that as soon as he moved, that pink figure dashed to him instead. Moments later, that pink figure stopped in front of him. Gongzhi immediately recognized this female cultivator. Within a tens of million of kilometer radius of this heartless sea region, no one dared to mess with her. She was Peng Island Yu Zizhen. Gongzhi greet Yu Qianbei. Gongzhi cursed himself for being unlucky. Yu Zizhen looked coldly at him and said, "Where did Dai come from?" If it was some other time, Yu Zizhen wouldn't want to waste time with Gongzhi, but today, she was full of fury. Gongzhi quickly said, "Wan Bei just came from Lost Soul Ruins. I'm so lucky to encounter Qianbei." "You came from Lost Soul Ruins?" Yu Zizhen raised her voice to a sharp level. Gongzhi didn't know what she meant and could only say respectfully, "Yes, Wan Bei did come from Lost Soul Ruins indeed. Who else went there?" Her voice was getting cold. Gongzhi didn't hide anything and said, "Dragon Ting Palace Lord Ting, Yutian Island Lord Lan, Juyin Island Lord Jiet, and one male and female cultivator." Speaking of this, Gongzhi suddenly thought. He didn't get any of the spirit nourishing well before. Now that Yu Zizhen was here, why don't he bring the disaster to them so they can't live well? Perhaps that Yu wasn't gone yet and was caught by Yu Zizhen. No matter how powerful Yemo was, he wouldn't be a match for Yu Zizhen, right? Suddenly Yu Zizhen said coldly, "I didn't expect you to be able to hide from me about going to Lost Soul Ruins. I heard you have a 5 lightning seal that can shoot out lightning arcs, right?" Gongzhi also realized something was wrong, and just when he wanted to talk, he felt cold. He felt the discomfort of being bound by domain already. Gongzhi immediately realized his situation and ran his cultivation essence like crazy, wanting to release his 5 lightning seal. But as soon as he broke free from her domain, he was hit by her gray handkerchief. "Arg!" A terrifying howl sounded, and as soon as Gong's essence spirit came out, it was crushed by Yu Zizhen's cultivation essence giant hand. He didn't even get a chance to explain himself, and was killed by this crazy woman. Compared to this woman, Yemo was a righteous judge. She casually took Gong's storage ring and couldn't even be bothered checking. Lan Qurui was rejoicing over his loot today when a sudden rumble sounded. Lan Qurui got up. He felt his island was under attack. He was an overlord in this region, other than Yemo, that madman, who would dare to attack his formation. Lan Qurui, hand over your life! A furious voice interrupted Lan Qurui's thoughts. Peng Island Yu Zizhen? Lan Qurui flew out and saw who attacked his island. His face changed greatly. Rumble! Another terrifying explosion sounded, and Yu Zizhen's handkerchief smashed down from the heavens. The defense formation immediately showed a crack. Before Lan Qurui could speak, that handkerchief smashed down again. Before Lan Qurui could speak, that handkerchief smashed down again. With a rumble, the island formation shook and the formation was about to crack. With a few more attacks, this formation was about to completely cripple. How could Lan Qurui allow Yu Zizhen to keep attacking? He charged out of the island and released his dual rings, stopping a wave of the black handkerchief. Crack! The two magic artifacts clashed together, and there was a cracking sound. Lan Qurui flew back and smashed on the defense formation. Lan Qurui calmed his cultivation essence and desperately said, Big sister, you're a Qianbei. What's the reason for attacking my island like this? What's the reason? Yu Zizhen repeated. You along with Tingxiong, Jiafeng, and them killed my son. Is it wrong for me to get revenge for my son? Lan Qurui dazed. He just realized that her son was killed, and this unreasonable woman assumed that he killed him. Was her son an immortal, needing the combined force of a few truth realization state cultivators? She was being too absurd. Lan Qurui was only dazed for a moment, and Yu Zizhen grunted. Her cultivation essence splashed out, and even with his power, Lan Qurui felt it difficult to breathe. In his shock, Lan Qurui roared, Big sister, if I killed your son, I won't die a good death and will die to the next divine damnation. He felt extremely oppressed being forced to say an oath, but he had to make it. He knew this woman had a simplistic brain, but was very powerful and cruel. Hearing this, her magic artifact slowed down. She didn't need long to kill him, and he wouldn't be able to escape from her. Thinking about this, she sealed all of the space here with her domain and said coldly, If you dare to speak any lies, I will crush your island. So unreasonable. Lan Qurui was furious, but there was nothing he could do. Lan Qurui suppressed his anger and said in an amicable tone, Big sister, I just came from Lost Soul Ruins, and during this time I didn't see him at all. How could I have killed him? Plus, your son is very handsome. I might be dumb, but how can I not recognize him? How would I dare to kill him? Big sister, you dominates the Heartless Sea. If I killed him, how could you not know? Yu Zizhen had always been dominant, and would rather kill the wrong people than let one possibility go. Lan Qurui's words woke her up a bit. She felt that Lan Qurui really didn't kill her son. Even Gongzhe was probably innocent. But even so, she didn't care about who was wrongly killed. She calmed down her tone and asked, Then who killed my son at Lost Soul Ruins? Lan Qurui cursed, thinking, how would I know? But he didn't dare to say that. He rejoiced about not lying. Yu Zizhen really went to Lost Soul Ruins. It was said that her nose was very sensitive. He even told her about finding the spirit nourishing well at the Lost Soul Ruins, but said after they all left, only Yemo was still there. He had the same intention as Gongzhe, wanting Yu Zizhen to fight Yemo. He described Yemo as someone who would kill anyone who showed him the slightest disrespect. Lan Qurui didn't say Yemo killed her son, but all his words implied that. Where is Yemo from? Yu Zizhen's killing intent rose. Seeing this, Lan Qurui breathed easy instead. He knew her killing intent wasn't targeted at him. He quickly said, That Yemo didn't say where he came from, but I guess he's probably from South Peace State. By the way, he's close with GF Foam, perhaps he might be visiting him there. Hand the spirit nourishing well over, Yu Zizhen said expressionlessly. Ha, big sister you. Lan Qire dazed. He lost his dragon heart flame and was almost killed by Yemo to get this, now it was going to be taken away. Yu Zizhen sneered and her power rose again. The black handkerchief was crushing space itself around here. Lan Qire didn't dare to say any more and threw a bottle over at Yu Zizhen. It's inside. Yu Zizhen took it and didn't even open it before disappearing. She was certain that Lan Qire didn't dare to trick her. Looking at her disappear, Lan Qire sneered. This old thing was so cocky just because she was powerful, condescending to everyone. He just gave her an ordinary bottle of spirit wine, but that old thing didn't even check it, she was so certain he didn't dare to trick her. I'll give up Yutian Island, Lan Qire said hatefully, dispersing his few close people and disappearing on his magic artifact. If there was someone to help Yemo control the flying ship, Yemo would go into the Golden Page world to test the spirit nourishing well. But he was by himself now, so he could only hold up on the thought. He was truth realization state power now, and so even though this flying ship was weaker than his Blue Moon, Yemo brought it to a speed just a bit slower than Blue Moon. In less than a month, Yemo arrived at the Coral Island Mengqi left. Yemo was desperate to go back, so he didn't plan to stay here. But when he saw there were 2 people here, he was surprised. This island was deprived of spirit qi. Who would stay here? Jing Xueqing? Yemo's spirit sense scanned one person and almost called out, but then he realized that this person wasn't Jing Xueqing. Jing Xueqing was a male, but this was a woman. She was only hollow spirit state level 9, but she looked almost exactly Jing Xueqing. The only thing was she was darker than Jing Xueqing. She wasn't ugly, but she wasn't pretty either. There was a wrinkly man next to her. He was disaster transformation state level 7. He knew she must be related to Jing Xueqing. Jing Xueqing was very generous, and gave him a jade card for protection. He even said that if Yong Lanyi dared to do anything to him, he could go to Tsanhai Palace for protection. He clearly knew he killed Yong Wuzi and still dared to help him. Clearly he was a true friend. Yemo immediately landed on his island. The 2 cultivators were very wary and stood vigilantly, watching Yemo. Yemo didn't put away his flying ship and saluted with his fists. Are you 2 from the Tsanhai Palace? The wrinkly man looked at Yemo's flying ship and was a little shocked, but that shock soon disappeared and he answered carefully. We don't seem to have seen this friend before. Is there anything you need? Yemo smiled. I have a friend at Tsanhai Palace called Jing Xueqing. Do you 2 know him? You're my brother's friend? The female cultivator asked in surprise so quickly that the man couldn't even stop her. She was confused, since when did her brother have a friend who could cross the Heartless Sea? How could she not know the danger of the Heartless Sea? Her Uncle Hai had been very careful taking her here, yet this person just overtly flew over in his flying ship. She was indeed Jing Xueqing's sister, he guessed right. Yemo took out a jade card and said, Look at this and you would know, Jing Xueqing gave this to me. She was indeed Jing Xueqing's sister, he guessed right. Yemo took out a jade card and said, Look at this and you would know, Jing Xueqing gave this to me. It really is my brother's identity jade card. The female cultivator called out in joy. Then she seemed to remember something and looked at Yemo in surprise. Are you Yemo, the one who escaped from the Chu 18 discs? Her brother didn't give out his jade card casually, but ever since her brother came back from the Chu 18 discs, he said he met a hero called Yemo. That Yemo dared to kill Yong Wuzi at the Chu 18 discs and knew formations very well. He really wanted to be friends with Yemo, so he gave out his card. The reason she didn't remember earlier was because her brother said Yemo was only body condensation state. A body condensation state cultivator dared to cross the Heartless Sea. Clearly he was mad. Yemo nodded. That's right, I'm Yemo. I happened to go past here and I saw you looked very like Brother Jing, so I came to ask. Is Brother Jing all right? I was planning to go to Shanghai Palace this time, but there's some emergency, so I can only wait till next time. He was Truth Realization State Level 3 and a forgery Grand Master. He was going to reforge his blue moon and make it true half-immortal artifact. By then, he would be able to come and go in the Heartless Sea freely. Jing Shuxiang wanted to ask how Yemo could cross the Heartless Sea with only body condensation state power, but Yemo's words brought out her sadness. She sniffed. I don't know if my brother is alive or dead now. That Shanghai Palace isn't the same Shanghai Palace. Yemo heard this and frowned. Your father Jing Xiangdong is the big palace lord, who would dare to do anything to your brother? The disaster transformation state level 7 realized Yemo was a friend not an enemy, so he said, This is a long story, let's sit down first. Yemo was desperate to go home, but he can't just leave this matter aside when Jing Xueqing was in trouble. He nodded. Okay. Yemo waved out 3 black stones and said, Please have a seat. Seeing the stone stools Yemo casually waved out, the 2's eyes spasmed. The stools he threw out casually were made from level 7 material void black star rock. It was very rare in the cultivation realm, and yet such material was made into stools. What more extravagance was this? Compared to the Black Rock City, though, this was nothing, as the entire city was made from the void black star rock. Jing Ziwuxiang sat down and said carefully, Brother Yi, I'm Jing Zhuoxiang and this my family's manager Jing Hai. Yemo nodded. Tell me about your brother. She nodded. Her eyes were red. She clearly heard thought before saying, After the Chu 18 discs, the Sea Cultivator Alliance had internal conflict and were dispersed and taken in by the Tong Hai cult. Hearing this, Yemo nodded. He knew about this. After that, our Shanghai Palace seemed alone and weak. Then, Yonglani came to visit us. My father didn't mind, but he didn't expect the 3rd Palace Lord to join up with Yonglani to ambush my father, and the 2nd Palace Lord Xinghuining. Yemo frowned. Yonglani was this hot-tempered. How could he have such calculations? Did he want to take over the Shanghai Palace too? My father was heavily injured, but he wasn't scared. However, Yonglani already had people hiding at the outskirts of the 3 islands. They would immediately come out to suppress the resistance. Those people who showed slight resistance would be killed. With the help of the 3rd Palace Lord, countless died in the Shanghai Island. My brother was caught on the spot, and I don't know if he's still alive. Jing Ziwuxiang wiped her eyes. Yemo asked heavily, How did you get out? Uncle Hai got first-hand news and immediately used a space transmission rune, taking me away from the Shanghai Palace. But we don't dare to cross the Heartless Sea, so we can only search for an opportunity to leave the Heartless Sea on this island. Jing Shuxiang answered. How long has it been? Yemo asked. Jing Hai quickly answered. It's been nearly a year. We used a year to get here. Yemo nodded. Without extreme-grade flying cultivation artifact and staying discreet, it wasn't easy to get here for a disaster transformation state level 7 cultivator. Thinking about this, Yemo got up. I'm going to go to Shanghai Palace. You two can come with me. You're going to save my brother? Jing Zhuoxiang got up in joy. Yemo nodded. Your brother Jing Xueqing is my friend. Now that he's in danger, of course I need to help. Plus, I have great enmity with Yonglani. Even without your brother's matters, I won't let this person go. I said I would be back when I left. Jing Zhuoxiang had calmed down now and said in hesitation. But Yonglani and 3rd Palace Lord Wu Lin are both Truth Realization State Level 9. That Yonglani is Truth Realization State Peak Stage, you're only Body Condensation State. Yemo heard this and looked at the disappointed Jing Hai, and immediately knew that they thought he was being hot-headed. Perhaps Jing Hai just wanted him to take them away to safety first. Realizing this, Yemo couldn't be bothered explaining. He took away the stone stools and said, In the Heartless Sea, this place is rather safe, but it would still be dangerous if you stay here for too long. If you're willing, I suggest you come with me to Shanghai Palace. Of course, if not, I can give a top-grade flying cultivation artifact to you guys. Hearing this, Jing Hai took a cold breath in. Giving out a top-grade flying cultivation artifact so easily. Who did this Yemo think he was? Was he really this wealthy? Jing Zhuoxiang didn't think that much and immediately. I'm willing, even if I die I'm going to see my brother and my mom. Okay, then let's go. Yemo got on his flying ship. Seeing Jing Zhuoxiang go in too, Jing Hai had no choice but to go in as well. But Yemo was right, even if they didn't go, how long could they hide with their power? Yemo was just about to start up the flying ship when a black figure dashed out of the sea charging at the flying ship. Level 9 Spirit Beast 8-Horned Octopus? Jing Zhuoxiang screamed out. Even Uncle Hai would need half a day to annihilate it. If there was more, they would only be able to hide. Uncle Hai. Jing Zhuoxiang subconsciously called. Jing Hai wanted to see Yemo attack, but the octopus was too fast. If he hesitated it might injure Jing Zhuoxiang, so he immediately released his magic artifact. But before he could attack, Yemo threw a wind blade over. Blood splashed, and that ferocious octopus was sliced in half like tofu. A beast core flew into Yemo's hand. Yemo seemed to have done something very casual as the flying ship sped off. Jing Hai was completely dumbfounded. What power was this? Killing a level 9 spirit beast in one move using the simplest wind blade? At this moment, he was looking at Yemo with some reverence. He didn't seem to a brainless idiot. Brother Yi, what power level are you at? Jing Zhuoxiang was also very shocked. Killing a level 9 spirit beast with one wind blade, even her father was at most at this level. Brother Yi, what power level are you at? Jing Zhuoxiang was also very shocked. Killing a level 9 spirit beast with one wind blade, even her father was at most at this level. Yemo smiled and said, I'm truth realization state power. Don't worry, I will kill that Yonglani for sure. Jing Hai took in a cold breath. The Chu 18 discs only allowed cultivators who were within 100 years of age to enter. Yemo was clearly not 100 to be able to go in a truth realization state cultivator, not even 100 years old. Jing Hai didn't dare to keep thinking. Even he had never heard of such absurd cultivator. So you're a truth realization state cultivator, my brother wanted my father to help you. Jing Zhuoxiang exclaimed. Yemo didn't explain. He knew that if he couldn't leave the Chu 18 discs then he would really need Jing Xueqing to help him. But he didn't know if Jing Xueqing's father would fight with Yonglani for him. Regardless, it was a silver lining for Yemo. Yemo took less than half a month to travel the distance the two needed a year to traverse. They were now at an island region. Yemo slowed down. Jing Zhuoxiang stood at the head of the ship and pointed at a huge tall black shape saying, That's the main palace of the Tsunghai Palace. My father was killed here by Wu Lin, that bastard. As soon as she said this, a dashing light appeared before the flying ship. It was an extreme-grade spirit artifact flying ship. A middle-aged man stood atop it, and seeing Yemo's flying ship, there was surprise in his eyes. He immediately saw Jing Zhuoxiang and called out in surprise, Is Mistress Zhuoxiang inside? Hearing this voice, Jing Zhuoxiang got up and said in surprise and joy, It's me, your patrol guard Wang. Yemo didn't attack seeing Jing Zhuoxiang knew this person. He was about to fling him over. It really is Mistress Zhuoxiang. You should quickly leave, why did you come back? The middle-aged man asked desperately. Thank you patrol guard Wang, I want to ask how my brother and mother are? Jing Zhuoxiang's eyes went red as she asked. Patrol guard Wang scanned Yemo and then saluted with his fists to Jing Hai before saying, Mistress Jing Zhuoxiang, sorry. After the big palace lord was harmed, Wang Han really had no choice but to stay here. Jing Zhuoxiang nodded. Brother Wang, I don't blame you, you're not wrong, it's the bastard Wu Lin. My mother and brother. Patrol guard Wang lowered his head. In order to not be assaulted, the palace lord wife committed suicide. Young palace lord is still in imprisonment. As for why they didn't do anything to the young palace lord, I don't know. Seeing Jing Zhuoxiang's tears, patrol guard Wang sighed to Jing Hai. Brother Jin, you should quickly take the mistress and leave. In a while I'm planning to go try our luck with a few friends at South Peace State. That Sunghai Palace isn't the same place as before, sigh. Suddenly, Patrol Guard Wang's face changed, and before he could react, another dashing light landed before Yi Mo's flying ship. Wan Han, I've long suspected you of being a spy, now it seems I'm really right. I really want to see how you're going to explain yourself today. You dare to help the remaining Jing family scum escape? A cocky voice sounded. Wan Han didn't explain anything as he knew it was pointless. Yi Mo had long seen the dashing light. Wan Han was Disaster Transformation State Level 4, but the cultivator who came was Disaster Transformation State Level 6. Brother Jing, this person is Tonghai Cult Cultivator Gui. He has done a lot of bad things in the Sunghai Palace and harmed a lot of our brothers. After we kill him together, I will come with you guys. Wan Han made a quick judgment. Yi Mo nodded. This Wan Han made the best decision in this situation. Jing Hai nodded at Wan Han but didn't answer. He looked at Yi Mo. Young Master Yi, what do you think? Jing Hai knew Yi Mo was as powerful as Truth Realization State cultivators, so he called him Young Master. It was also to remind Yi Mo that Yi Mo was his young master's best friend and urge him to save his young master. Wan Han was dazed. Jing Hai was the family servant of the Jing family. Why did he call someone he had never seen before young master? Yi Mo knew what Jing Hai meant, but he wasn't angry. Now that Jing Hai asked, Yi Mo said plainly, nothing to hesitate about, just attack. Just attack? Wan Han looked at Yi Mo, who was so much younger than him and couldn't say a word. If it was a Truth Realization State Peak Stage cultivator who said this, it would be heroic and dominant, but coming from Yi Mo, it made him look like an idiot. The Disaster Transformation State Level 6 who just came overheard this and laughed, flinging out a fireworks signal in the sky. Yi Mo didn't mind and just suddenly reached out a cultivation essence giant hand and grabbed at it. Seeing this, the Disaster Transformation State Level 6 was shook. How could he not know that Yi Mo was a Truth Realization State cultivator? He wanted to run immediately, but soon he found he couldn't move at all. Domain, such a powerful domain! There was despair in the Disaster Transformation State Level 6 eyes. He watched the cultivation essence giant hand pick him up. With a crack, the Disaster Transformation State Level 6 turned into nothing under Yi Mo's cultivation essence giant hand. Only a storage ring was left. Truth Realization State Cultivator. Wan Han called out in shock. He just realized that this cultivator younger than him was a Truth Realization State cultivator, a top grade one. Wan Hai's heart beat rapidly seeing Yi Mo attack again. He was certain Yi Mo was definitely on par with the old palace lord. Not even the old palace lord could kill a Disaster Transformation State Level 6 with one cultivation essence giant hand. Even Jing Zhuoxiang stopped her mourning and looked dazedly at Yi Mo's power. A Disaster Transformation State Level 6 couldn't do anything in his hands. Just what absurd friend did her brother make? Jing Hai rejoiced. The more powerful Yi Mo was, the more hope of the young master being rescued and the safer they were. Wan Han also woke up and immediately said, Mistress Jing Zhuoxiang, Wan Han is willing to go with you guys to rescue the young master no matter whether it means life or death. Then Wan Han bowed again. Wan Han greets Qian Bei. If it wasn't for Qian Bei, Wan Han wouldn't be a match for that person. Yi Mo nodded. You're very good. Wan Han clearly didn't want to stay under the third palace lord. In such a situation, he could still persuade Jing Zhuoxiang to run and didn't forget his roots. Jing Zhuoxiang reacted and bowed to Wan Han, saying in a coarse voice, Thank you for helping Big Brother Wang, I'm very grateful. Wan Han said seriously, I was persuading you guys to go because I knew if you went to Sunghai Palace, it wouldn't change anything. But with this Truth Realization State Qian Bei here we can try. That Yonglani isn't at our Sunghai Palace and old palace lord still has a lot of followers, but many just can't resist like us. As soon as he said this, more than 10 dashing beams arrived rapidly. The leading man was a Truth Realization State Level 1 cultivator, and the rest were Disaster Transformation State, or Cauldron Filling State cultivators. The leading man was a truth realization state level 1 cultivator, and the rest were disaster transformation state, or cauldron filling state cultivators. Wang Han, where is Gui? Didn't he? The truth realization state level 1 started to ask Wang Han, but before he finished he saw Jing Zhuoxiang and immediately stopped questioning. His eyes turned cold. Before this truth realization state cultivator finished, Jing Zhuoxiang yelled, Simu Lin, you've been with my father for so many years, why did you betray the Songhai Palace and conspire with the animal from the Tonghai cult Yonglani? The truth realization state level 1 looked at Jing Zhuoxiang in contempt. Do I need to explain to you? Where did Gui go? Speak! Gui sent off the alarm signal and he couldn't have left in such a short time. Jinghai was only disaster transformation state level 7 and wasn't that much stronger than Gui. Even with Wang Han's help, they couldn't have killed Gui in such a short time. Thus, he was surprised Gui wasn't here. He then thought of something and reproached Wang Han. Did he chase after someone else? Before Wang Han replied, Yemo said calmly, I killed the one who signaled. What? The truth realization state level 1 said in shock. His power rose drastically and killing intent burst out like crazy. Those weaker cultivators all retreated. Even Wang Han felt uneasiness of breathing. He immediately knew he was enclosed in Simu Lin's domain and wanted to break free. Yemo couldn't be bothered talking and released his domain too. With this, Simu Lin felt his domain was as thin as ice and was instantly crushed. Even Wang Han could hear the clear cracking sound. Half a second later, Wang Han felt he was completely free, but Simu Lin's face changed drastically. He immediately realized that Yemo was many times more powerful than him. Just when he wanted to release his magic artifact, more than 10 wrist-sized black lightning arcs shot at him. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Those disaster transformation states and cauldron-filling states in Yemo's domain couldn't resist at all and all turned to dust. Simu Lin quickly burned a few mouthfuls of essence blood and forcefully broke free from Yemo's domain, but before he could release his magic artifact, another lightning sword landed. With a splurge, blood and flesh flew off. With this, Simu Lin was sent flying. Just where did this maniac come from? He was this terrifying, there was nothing he could even do to resist. Holding back his terror, Simu Lin released a cultivation artifact shield, wanting to protect himself, and then used blood mobility. A faint yellow rune was released and Simu Lin spat a few mouthfuls of blood on it. Instantly, the rune emitted bright yellow light as though about to be activated. But soon, Simu Lin was disappointed. He found his rune was bound by Yemo's domain, and couldn't be activated. In his worry, Simu Lin immediately realized that other than begging for mercy, only death awaited him. Qian Bei, he began, but an even thicker lightning arc fell. With a crack, Simu Lin's shield shattered and flew apart. However, the lightning didn't stop there and continued to fall onto his head. There was despair in his eyes as Simu Lin fell into the sea. His soul was eradicated too. Wang Han and them looked at the empty sea. If they weren't here, they wouldn't have thought anyone was here before. In about 10 seconds, Yemo killed more than 10 people, including a truth realization state cultivator. Even the truth realization state cultivator was instantly killed by Yemo. Jinghai's heart beat even more rapidly. Yemo took the storage ring and said, "Let's go to the Songhai 3 Islands." Wang Han came back to his senses. It seemed his decision was right. This Qian Bei was at least truth realization state tertiary stage. The Songhai Palace was so famous greatly due to their main palace, the Golden Palace. It was a remnant from the ancient times. Even without spirit-gathering formations, the spirit chi inside was very dense. Another benefit of this palace was to refine spirit sense. Inside the palace, a black robed cultivator was sitting on the main seat drinking wine. However, he didn't seem happy at all and instead had a frown on his face. This was the previous third palace lord Wu Lin. Other than the great and second palace lord, he had the highest authority. But power was like drugs. Once you were addicted, you couldn't get out of it. He felt he was confined in here too much. Whether it was the two palace lords or the two paid guests, they were people he couldn't control. He didn't want this. He wanted his words to be divine orders that no one would dare to argue. At this moment, Yonglani sent him a purple luolan and persuaded him to be independent. With this, Wu Lin eventually agreed. With their careful planning, they ambushed the two other palace lords and successfully took power. Wu Lin thought that with the two palace lords gone, that Songhai Palace would naturally all he his. But only later did he realize how simply he thought things through. He indeed killed the two palace lords, but Songhai Palace didn't come under his management as he expected. The two paid guests left, and the rest of the cultivators didn't want to listen to him, and went into internal conflict. In that battle, Songhai Palace didn't even have a third of its original power. If this was it, Wu Lin would take it as he believed in time that Songhai Palace would regain its former glory. But the fact was more and more cultivators were leaving. Even though he used extremely harsh measures, he couldn't stop them from leaving. At this moment, he realized that he was the third palace lord because he was the least popular. What he was most annoyed about was that after Yonglani helped him kill the two palace lords, he took 80% of Songhai Palace's wealth. On top of that, he said Songhai Palace would have to supply many herbs and materials to him as Songhai Palace was now a subordinate of the Tonghai cult. He thought his power would greatly increase after becoming the only palace lord, but now it seemed greatly diminished instead. Now, he realized that Yonglani was scared of the big palace lord and the second palace lord together. Now that they were dead, how could Yonglani be scared of him? "Wu Lin, you sly bastard!" A coarse girl's voice interrupted Wu Lin's thoughts. Wu Lin shook and got up suddenly. Who could come in here and swear at him? Zhuoxiang. Wu Lin subconsciously called and then looked at Yemo next to her. Clearly, she was here due to this young man. Zhuoxiang. Wu Lin subconsciously called and then looked at Yemo next to her. Clearly, she was here due to this young man. Wu Lin was confused. Even though Songhai Palace was at its weakest, the young man shouldn't be able to come here. There were 6 truth realization states before, but now, only him and Simu Lin were left. Even though Simu Lin was truth realization state level 1, how could this young cultivator stop him? If not, then how was he here? Wu Lin scanned his spirit sense out, and the next moment his face changed greatly. He found his spirit sense couldn't go out of this palace, meaning that someone had set up formation outside. "You don't need to use spirit sense, it won't be able to scan out. I've set up a formation outside," Yemo said calmly. Jing Hai and Wang Han went to gather up the remaining cultivators of the palace and didn't come in with Yemo. Yemo didn't want Wu Lin to know this. There were no more truth realization state cultivators left, and using the name of the old palace lord, Wang Han and Jing Hai should be able to take back the place. "Wu Lin, you bastard, what did my father and Uncle Qin do wrong to you? You brought a wolf into our house and conspired with Yonglani to annihilate our Songhai Palace, animal." Jing Zhuoxiang knew she was no match for him, otherwise she would have fought him already. Wu Lin's face was very bad but ignored Jing Zhuoxiang. If he could go back to before, he definitely wouldn't do this. Yemo scanned with spirit sense and saw that Wang Han and Jing Hai's situation didn't seem to be too well. It wasn't that someone was fighting them, but they didn't have enough charisma to gather the people. He immediately said to Jing Zhuoxiang, "Sister Zhuoxiang, how about you go out and help them? I'll deal with here." Jing Zhuoxiang immediately understood what Yemo meant and nodded, leaving the place without hesitation. Wu Lin also realized there were things going on outside, but before Jing Zhuoxiang reached the door, he grabbed with his cultivation essence giant hand. How could he let her leave? Moments later, Wu Lin's face changed. Jing Zhuoxiang walked out of the palace unaffected while his cultivation essence giant hand disappeared like a joke. "Domain. Your truth realization state cultivator?" Wu Lin suddenly got up and a white ray appeared in his hand. It was a white sword without a handle. Yemo said calmly, "If I'm not truth realization state, what would I be doing here?" Yemo also released Zisu. He was prideful, but he was only a truth realization state level 3. He didn't overestimate himself to the extent that he didn't need to use magic artifact against the truth realization state level 9. There were truth realization state level 9 cultivators more powerful than him. So Anshan, Shirtie, and that evil spirit. If So Anshan wasn't heavily injured, he was definitely no match for him. Shirtie also only had less than half of his power too. If So Anshan wasn't injured, then even though his body refinement was God state, he would at most be able to stay alive. It was impossible to kill So Anshan. This Wu Lin was at most Di Xiuming's level. Despite this, Yemo didn't underestimate him. Wu Lin didn't hold back at all. His white sword instantly turned into countless sword rays. These sword rays sliced across Yemo's domain unaffected. In the blink of an eye, they surrounded Yemo. Yemo was enveloped by these vibrant white sword rays. While these sword rays passed his domain, Yemo was shook. There really were anything in the cultivation realm. There were sword ray that weren't affected by domain. With such speed and power, Yemo couldn't even use octagonal cauldron in time. Thud, thud, thud. Countless white sword rays splashed everywhere. Yemo was caught off guard and surrounded by these sword ray explosions. Wu Lin's face was pale, but he breathed easy. He used his secret technique straight up. He knew that Yemo would be no simple character to dare to come here. Jing Zhuoxiang clearly went out to set people to rebel against him. He had to kill Yemo as quickly as possible. Once Yemo was dead, Jing Zhuoxiang was just an insect. The entire palace was rattling with the power of the explosion. Yemo didn't expect Wu Lin to have such secret technique. If it was before, he could only go hide in the Golden Page world, but now, he didn't feel the threat of being killed. The blades ravaged on his body. Yemo heard his armor and skin being ripped, but even the most powerful one could only make a red mark on his skin. Yemo exclaimed, the God state body refinement was too powerful. Even if he was no match for Wu Lin, it was very hard for Wu Lin to kill him. The explosion disappeared quickly. Wu Lin looked at Yemo in disbelief. Yemo only had some messy hair and clothes, and the blood marks were beginning to disappear from his body. What person was this? He was completely fine under the explosion of his secret technique? He definitely used his body to stop the explosion. How was this powerful? No matter how powerful the cultivator, he couldn't be unscathed. The hardest part about that move wasn't the explosion, but encompassing the opponent with the sword ray. Some opponents could react fast and escape before being trapped. Yemo was trapped, and Wu Lin was certain his move worked, but now, Yemo stood completely fine in front of him. To be able to be completely fine, Yemo must be a body refinement master, one who was at the top, but Wu Lin didn't believe Yemo would be one. Before Wu Lin could talk, Yemo hacked out with Zisu and said, "This time, it's my turn." Wu Lin was truth realization state level 9, but he didn't dare to take it head on. But in that instant, the purple ray was before him. Wu Lin released the white sword, forming a white veil blocking in front of him. Crack! The purple ray and the white veil clashed, and a few black wrinkles appeared on the white veil. At the same time, the veil cracked again, disappearing. A thin white sword was sent flying. Wu Lin was shook. Yemo's purple ray was too fast. Just when he released another shield, he heard another crack. The shield was sliced in half and blood splashed out. So powerful! Wu Lin retreated tens of steps, smashing against the wall of the palace while looking at Yemo in shock. Yemo was about to attack again, but Wu Lin suddenly stopped with his hand. "Wait, I'm no match for you, and I don't expect you to let me go. With your power you can dominate even in the Heartless Sea. Why would someone like you help Jing Zhuoxiang? If you can tell me, I will die satisfied." Jing Zhuoxiang was that ugly, Wu Lin would never believe Yemo would be interested in her, and came to help. Yemo sneered. "I'm not here to help Jing Zhuoxiang, I came here to kill Yonglani, of course. Jing Xiangdong is my friend. Jing X Xiangdong has a friend like you." Wu Lin said this in despair, and then he emitted a withered chi. "You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.